Hello, my little piggies. How's everybody doing tonight? Hello, my little piggies. Hello, hello. What's up? You guys ready for Civil War? Yeah, I'm still on Tim's thing, man. It's mine now. Too late, Tim. I already stole it, dude. No takebacks. It's mine now. I own it. Yeah, again, we have craziness going on in this world. This world is a crazy place. Every day things get crazier, and I'm here to talk about it and have some fun, right? We gotta have fun with it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Let me refresh my chat here so I can see what the hell is going on. How's everybody doing? Ethan, Whacked Man, Anomalous, Redonk. John McCarter, how's it going, buddy? Hope you're doing good. So yeah, the Democrats are doing what they always do. They're calling for people to basically not take orders from Trump. What they say is like illegal orders, but we know what they're saying. We know what they're doing. We know the game they're playing. And, you know, clearly Trump took the bait and got angry about it. And, yeah, he went off. He started calling for sedition trials. He even retruthed, because this is on Truth Social. He retruthed a post calling for hangings. Let's calm down a little bit. I'm all for justice. I want justice too, but the posts about it are fucking useless, okay? You really want to do something, let's open some actual investigations and let's actually nail these people and stop fucking posting about it on Truth Social. I'm sick of all this shit, like all this big talk and like nothing ever gets done. But let's see. Trump, here's a post from, let me put this on the screen here. Smash a thumbs up, guys, before we get this going. Help get the numbers up. President Trump is demanding the arrest of several Democrats who in public video urged the CIA to refuse orders from the sitting commander-in-chief. He says their actions amount to sedition at the highest level and insists these traitors should be put on trial. Trump says they must be made an example. Nothing's going to be done, but it's fun, right? It's fun to talk shit on the internet, ain't it, Trump? Let's see. They made a little video.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
So this is their message overlaid with Trump's response. It's called seditious behavior at the highest level. Each one of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. We won't have a country anymore. An example must be set. President DJT. Let's see what pissed him off so much.
Deluzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
Who take risks each day
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military,
And intelligence community professionals.
against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad.
But from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
At
You can
Captain Willard super chatted $1.
I didn't even know you could super chat $1. I've never seen $1 before. It's always $2. Thank you, Captain Willard.
Use illegal orders.
Appreciate you, brother.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
In the Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
Okay, so essentially, you don't have to follow illegal orders. And what's illegal? Whatever our woke fucking leftist Biden-appointed judge decides. Because they just decided again, for the moment, because this always goes back and forth. You get whiplash, like, oh, he's not allowed. Oh, he's allowed. Oh, he's not allowed. Oh, he's allowed. They just decided he can't send the National Guard into D.C. That's illegal. Of course, until it gets to the Supreme Court, then they'll go, actually, the president has the right to do that. So whatever one of our woke fucking liberal judges decides is against the law, that's what's against the law. This lawfare is getting pretty fucking ugly. But yeah, Trump really freaked out about this, bro. He calls for trials. The retruthing of calling for hangings, that's pretty spicy. coming from our president. But I do think we really do need to go after our political class. I know that probably sounds bad, but like in a legitimate way. Like, we need true investigations. We got to figure out where the fraud is, and we need to take them down. Because there's just so much corruption, bro.
Spocko super chatted
Hey, Spocko.
$4.99. How they complete each other's sentences is very Borg-like, very Democrat.
You're right. The Democrats do model themselves after the Borgs. There's, they march in lockstep, bro. It's not like they're coordinating or anything, right? It's not like anybody's coordinating their messages. Yeah, the Democrats, it's one thing you have to give for them. Like, they're very coordinated. They're not like the right wing where we're just throwing shit at each other until election time. Then we kind of come together. Otherwise, we just throw shit at each other all day long and fight over everything, which is honestly the better way to go. It's better than being a Democrat cult. So yeah, they're all, responding to this. Oh my God, Donald Trump just threatened to have me arrested and executed. Of course, they're going to play victim now.
This morning, President Donald Trump threatened to have me arrested and executed simply for reminding our service members of their oaths to follow the Constitution and to defend the rule of law. I've taken many oaths throughout my life, as a combat veteran, a paratrooper, an Army Ranger, and now as a member of Congress. That is a lifetime oath for me. I will never stop defending it and upholding that sacred obligation.
Yeah, don't follow orders that are illegal unless it comes from us. If it's us giving you the illegal orders, then yeah, you must follow. Otherwise, you'll be fucking brought up on charges. But if it's Trump, no, don't follow orders. Don't follow orders. Yeah, man. In spirit, I kind of agree with the message, right? Like, you really shouldn't follow orders that are illegal, that are unconstitutional. You shouldn't. But this goes beyond that. This is not about that, okay? This is about just merely undermining Trump and letting, like, the troops know, like, hey, you don't have to. I know he's the president, he's the commander-in-chief and all that, but you don't really have to listen to him. It's kind of like you're putting that little earworm into people who serve. And I'm sure there's a ton of woke Democrats in the military, in the CIA, et cetera, who will hear this message and go, yeah, of course, I was already doing that. Yeah, I mean, you mean Tuesday? Yeah, that's what I did Tuesday. I don't follow orders. We actually try to undermine Trump at every chance we get.
It's very telling that President Trump and those around him think it's criminal simply for asking people to follow the law. This moment requires moral clarity. Every American, regardless of your background, should unite and reject his calls for political violence. This is a moment that requires leadership.
It's Trump calling for political violence, right? Is that what Trump's doing? He's calling for political violence? Yeah, it's kind of cute how they murder people like Charlie Kirk. I know this guy didn't murder Charlie Kirk, but the left, people that have been indoctrinated by people like this, they murder people like Charlie Kirk, and then they turn to Trump and go, "You're calling for political violence." Okay.
I intend to uphold my obligation, my oath, and to lead. Don't give up the ship.
Someone says, I didn't think there was woke Army Rangers. I imagine there are. Here's the thing, like, you could have people that are otherwise, like, super intelligent, smart, badass soldiers, but they still can fall into the propaganda bullshit. Like, if you're raised, it's like being raised by a crazy mom who teaches you a bunch of crazy shit, and, like, that's all you know. Like, at a certain point, can you blame the kid for believing a bunch of stupid shit because, like, their mom fucking polluted their brain from a young age? It's kind of like that. It doesn't mean they still can't be cool people. You can't hang out with them and they maybe are good at chess or good at poker or still have skills that are useful. It's just they've been fucking sold a lie their entire life and bought into it. And it takes time for people to wake up from that. We all have had our moments. Like, if you're like me, a lot of people are like me. You grew up indoctrinated into all the liberal shit. You were a Democrat at 22, and then in your 30s, you kind of wake up and you go, okay, you start seeing kind of more of the game that's being played. But yeah, and a lot of military people, they're still young, they're still in their 20s, and unfortunately maybe it's different now, but a lot of 20-year-olds, they haven't woken up to the bullshit yet. They need a little more life experience, There's a few of these. They all took the opportunity, of course, to come out and be the victim. Oh no, Trump wants to hang me. Like, you guys know what you're doing. You probably fucking planned this out. You're like, let's do that. And then Trump's going to say something harsh. And then we'll pretend like he's calling for violence against us, which, I mean, he kind of was, but that's what Trump does on Truth Social. I wouldn't say he was calling for violence. I was saying he was calling for justice because he actually believes what you're doing is seditious. And a lot of people would agree with him.
The President of the United States just called for Democratic members of Congress to be executed.
Oh, no.
This is not normal. We cannot allow this to feel.
Is it normal for you guys to go around telling fucking military people that they should basically disobey orders? Is that normal? Is that normal? And it's almost like you're expecting something crazy to go down. Right? It's almost like they're expecting some crazy shit to go down and they're like trying to get ahead of it. Like, yeah, when we actually go into full civil war, yeah, don't listen to them.
Normal. This, as far as I know, has never happened before in the history of the country. Every Democratic member of the Senate and the House, their life is in jeopardy right now, especially those that were specifically targeted by this social media post. Democratic senators and House members who were simply saying that no member of the military should act illegally or in violation of the Constitution. The President of the United States just called for members of Congress to be executed. If you are a person of influence in this country, maybe it's time to pick a fucking side.
Oh shit, now the Democrats are dropping F-bombs. Remember when politicians used to actually never do this? Is this the Trump effect? Because I think this is the Trump effect. I think this is Trump like throwing PC shit out the window, and it became popular, so everybody's like, oh, I got to drop at least one F-bomb in my speech today. I got to show I'm fucking a really cool guy and drop at least one F-bomb.
If you are a Republican in Congress, if you are a Republican governor, maybe it's time to draw a line in the sand and say that under no circumstances should the President of the United States be calling on his political opposition to be hanged. We are at a very dangerous moment right now. The President is engaged in the wholesale incitement, endorsement, and rationalization of political violence in this country.
Yeah, it's Trump. Trump's the one, guys. Yeah. Okay, let's pretend like you're not fucking trying to stop the president from doing the job he was elected to do. Let's pretend like that's not the case. You don't want to stop him from deporting people. Okay. Oh, because it's unconstitutional for him to arrest somebody illegally in this country and deport. Oh, well, due process. And then you get your fucking corrupt ass fucking judges to get in the way every single time. And then you go, okay, well, it is right that they shouldn't follow unconstitutional orders. Bro, this is beyond whether it's unconstitutional. If it's unconstitutional order, great. Okay. They're playing lawfare. They're trying every step of the way to stop Trump from doing what a lot of people voted him to do. And you see it clearly when it comes to enforcing immigration and actually trying to deport people who are here illegally. Right? Oh, it's an unconstitutional order because some Ninth Circuit fucking woke liberal judge decided that Trump can't deport people without giving them blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, whatever, dude. Basically, you're trying to, like, cuff his hands, man. You're trying to cuff his hands, not allow him to do what we need him to do. And then when he has to do it, you force him to do it, then, oh, okay, well, everybody should not follow orders. Maybe I'm not explaining it well, but you got to see the big picture of the game being played here. Democrats are not just coming out I care about the Constitution so much, don't follow. It's not that. This is just political posturing.
Spocko super chatted $4.99. Oh no, the liberal MiG-15s are angry now.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, Spocko. Yeah, this is just more fucking dirt slinging, more trying to, like, trap the other side to make, it's so much of this really, I don't think it's really going to go anywhere. I don't think we're going to see a civil war. Everybody's going to talk big, but nothing ever fucking really happens. Hopefully I'm right, because we don't want to see a civil war, but we would like to actually do some things in this country and get some things fixed. And it's like every time we make any effort to do anything, it's just the other side just obstructs every single time, Like, oh, the federal government doesn't have the right to go into cities and deport people here that are here illegally. Oh, really? They don't? Isn't the federal government in complete control of the borders? That's their fucking job. the one thing that we all agreed on that, you know, the federal government can do, but I guess we can't now. That's now illegal because some liberal judge just, you know, decided to interpret the Constitution in some way it's never been interpreted before. So now don't follow illegal orders, guys. Okay. We got another one here. Senator Alyssa Slotkin. What a nice name.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin, senator from Michigan, former CIA officer. Earlier today, President Trump threatened myself.
So yeah, I don't trust you already. You probably should not lead with former CIA officer if you want people to actually trust what's coming out of your fucking mouth, Slotkin. You dumb Slotkin.
And a number of other service and veteran lawmakers with arrest, trial, and death because he didn't agree with a video we put out this week. This really isn't about those of us who made the video. This is about who we are as Americans and how we're going to engage with people who we disagree with. I would hope that people of all backgrounds, Democrat, Republican, Independent, would agree that threatening death for people you disagree with is beyond the pale of who we are.
But is it not technically insurrection when you're fucking telling armed forces to not follow the president's orders? Is that not technically insurrection? But oh no, only if it's unconstitutional. But you guys know you don't care about the Constitution. Are we going to pretend to care? The Democrats care about the Constitution? Are we going to pretend that's the case? It's not. The Democrats don't care about the fucking Constitution. What they care about is stopping Trump. This is what this is about: stopping Trump. So in that sense, it is sort of sedition. Anyway, let's just take it to trial and find out, right? Let's just take it to trial and find out. Let's see what people think when we go to trial.
As Americans.
I'm down for it. Let's do it. Let's do the sedition trials, bro.
I love this country. It
I doubt that.
has given me everything. And I refuse to believe that this is the new normal. I refuse to believe that we're going to use fear and intimidation against people we disagree with. And I'm not going to be forced away from speaking up on behalf of my country. I swore an oath to the Constitution many times.
That amazing disgrace 911 super chatted $5. Picking a side isn't unity.
Okay. Yes, picking a side isn't unity. You're always going to have sides to pick. You think there's going to be a point in time where everybody in the country is going to be 100% all on the same side? It's never going to happen. This politics is warfare. Everybody has different opinions. You have socialists, you have, capitalists, you have fucking... Nobody's ever going to agree on everything. So you're always going to have to pick a side, unless you're living in some bubblegum world where everybody's kumbaya and agrees on every fucking issue.
Most recently, less than a year ago, as a senator. To the Constitution, not to any one man, not to any one president. And I abide by that oath. For me, I believe in the power of this country and that we are better than our current politics represent. And I refuse to be intimidated out of defending the country I love. I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Yeah. It's about party over country. It really is with these people. White House responds to condemnation for Trump post accusing Democrats of seditious behavior. Let's see.
For the past hour, we have
this is Catherine Levitt or whatever talking about it.
And looking in and listening to Press Secretary Caroline Levitt at the White House press briefing room talk about many headlines. So moments ago, our Nancy Cordes asked a question to White House Press Secretary Levitt. She
looks like a Caroline, doesn't she? It's crazy how that works. Like, there are certain people, like certain names, they have certain looks, and she looks like a Caroline.
Is a question regarding some overnight pretty incendiary comments President Trump made about Democrats on social media. Here's her question and the response.
Caroline, this morning, President Trump accused 6 Democratic lawmakers of sedition.
Is it just me, or is she getting hotter? Is she getting hotter? She lose a little weight or something? I don't know. She seems like she's getting hotter.
Seditious behavior punishable by death. Just to be clear, does the president want to execute members of Congress?
No. Let's be clear about what the president is.
No. Oh, come on. No. But what if they are committing sedition? What if they are fucking cheating elections? What if they did run a big scam in fucking 2020 to shut everything down, to destroy the American economy so they can get a political victory? You know, I mean, maybe they shouldn't just, I'm not the one that's going to decide if they get executed or not. Maybe they should, be brought up on charges, and we'll let the judges decide, or the jury, whoever, you know. Let's not pretend like the Democrats are not like the most corrupt fucking people ever, along with the neocons. And they both, there's a lot of justice to be served.
941 super chatted $10. Do you think we will ever elevate as a people to just call out these political hacks and get down to action without the spin? Or are we stuck forever with these platitudes that lead nowhere?
Oh, it's a good question. That's a good question, bro. I don't know. I mean, we live in this day and age where big talk on social media seems to be, you know, I don't think it's going anywhere. You know, people are still going to talk a big game on social media, especially Trump. But I don't know, man. It's hard to predict what's going to happen. I think things, if they do get bad enough at a certain point, you know, the government's never going to really address anything. The government's just kind of useless. Like, it seems like the only role the government plays is like, okay, let's tax as much as possible and just like siphon as much money from taxpayers as possible. It's like the only thing they're good at. So we'll see. I think if things get really bad for the population, you know, they are already really bad, but, you know, I mean, like even worse, where people are starting to go skinny because they don't have enough food. A situation like that, it'd probably be up to the people to actually bring about action, like real action, because I don't think we can rely on this government or any government because they don't care about the people. I don't know if you've noticed this. The government doesn't really care about fixing anything for us. They don't. They really don't. They just care about keeping their corporate donors happy and keeping that little tax money slush fund going, you know?
Responding to, because many in this room want to talk about the president's response, but not what brought the president to responding in this way. You have sitting members of the United States Congress who conspired together to orchestrate a video message to members of the United States military, to active duty service members, to members of the national security apparatus, encouraging them to defy the president's lawful orders. The sanctity of our military rests on the chain of command. And if that
and that's where the details are. The Democrats will say something's unlawful. The Republicans will say it is lawful. They'll have different interpretations of the Constitution. Okay, and then you'll have left-wing judges say it's unconstitutional, and that'll last until it gets to a non-left-wing judge who will say, actually, it is constitutional. So what are we left to think at the end of the day?
At Amazing Disgrace 911 super chatted $5. You made my same argument with party over country. I think we agree, but I might have worded my point wrong.
Well, it's always sometimes hard to understand what people are saying. And I mean, there's so many times I get super chats and I'm like, what is he exactly saying? But yeah, definitely. The thing is, like, this is politics, man. There's so many, like, don't even break it down into party, break it down into like real world things. People have different opinions on shit. There's a lot of people I agree with, I'm in the same party with, but we're in different sides of so many different things. You know, like some people believe in abortion up to a certain point. Some people believe in no abortion at all. Some people believe in legalization of marijuana. Some people believe in banning it. You know, some people believe we shouldn't have seatbelts. There shouldn't be a law for seatbelts. And some people believe it. So there's always going to be sides, bro, because everybody fucking has their own views on things. And, you know, and you could break it down by party or you can break it down by actual, like, real world shit. How do you feel about abortion? How do you feel about taxes? How do you feel about this or that? So there's just always going to be sides, bro. And there's never going to be a time where we all come together, kumbaya. The problem is, like, when one side does win, the other side never, you know, goes, okay, we lost. They're going to have their way. No, they just, they scream and cry and try to obstruct, and then nothing gets done. You know, like if the Democrat socialists win, I'm going to be like, okay, well, let's see how this Democrat socialism works. Maybe I'll get some free healthcare. But the mindset of like other people be like, no, we have to burn the system down. It's like, no, that's democracy. We fucking lost. We should have had a better message. We should have pulled a bigger coalition. But that's the way it is now. People are a bunch of sore losers. They can't accept when they lose.
Chain of command is
Thank you for the
broken.
super chats, bro.
It can lead to people getting killed. It can lead to chaos. And that's what these members of Congress who swore an oath to abide by the Constitution are essentially encouraging. We have 1.3 active duty service members in this country. And if they hear this radical message from sitting members of Congress, that could inspire chaos and it could incite violence and it certainly could disrupt the chain of command. These three members of Congress, I will also add, knew exactly what they were doing. You look at Alyssa Slotkin. She's a former member of the CIA. Mark Kelly was a captain in the U.S. Navy. Maggie Goodlander was a naval officer, and notably, she is also the wife of Joe Biden's national security former advisor, Jake Sullivan.
It's a big deal when you're telling military members to basically disregard orders from their chain of command. It's kind of a big deal. Let's not pretend it isn't.
And so these members knew what they were doing. They were leading into their credentials as former members of our military, as veterans, as former members of the national security apparatus to signal to people serving under this commander-in-chief, Donald Trump, that you can defy him and you can betray your oath of office. That is a very, very dangerous message, and it perhaps is punishable by law. I'm not a lawyer. I'll leave that to the Department of Justice and the Department of War to decide.
But the president has frequently, but Caroline, can I just follow up? The president and the vice president, for that matter, have accused the other side of encouraging political violence. Isn't that exactly what the president is doing when he says that members of Congress should be killed?
No, he's calling for justice. Is it political violence when... So basically, any politician can commit sedition, and if you call for justice and trials, then it's political violence. So basically, anybody can commit sedition then. Basically, any fucking politician can just throw this country under the bus, become a spy, whatever they want to do. Whatever they want to do. Because it's out of the question of possibility of ever serving justice against people who fucking are traitors to the country, right?
Why aren't you talking about what these members of Congress are doing to encourage and incite violence? They are literally saying to 1.3 million active duty service members not to defy the chain of command, not to follow lawful orders.
Actually,
every single
can refuse an illegal order, which
but
is
they're suggesting, Nancy, that the president has given illegal orders, which he has not. Every single order that is given to
Spocko super chatted $4.99. Have you seen all the attacks on ICE in Charlotte? This is definitely their strategy.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this is straight up has to do with the border, because this is where the disagreements over what's legal, what's not legal, is what Trump's doing legal. He's not. This is unconstitutional, and they just their arguments are weak, and they lack fucking actual, backing in reality. Because like yes, the president, the federal government has control over our borders. They're the ones that is their job to keep our borders under control. And I don't know. I mean, is it okay if a state decides that, when it comes to border law, we don't have to uphold border law? We can allow people to sneak into this country and we'll give them. I mean, so I guess it's Trump who's breaking the law by not allowing the states to break the law. And it's one thing when it's like marijuana, right? Like a state wants to legalize marijuana and say, fuck the federal government law. That's one thing that's like, okay, it does have effects to other states, but not so much. But when we're talking about border enforcement, that doesn't just affect the one state. That affects the entire country. This is why it's the federal government's job to enforce this shit. Because you can't just let one state decide, oh, we're just going to bring in the whole third world and completely tip the scale of power, tip the balance of power in our favor, because we're just going to use a bunch of illegal citizens and throw them towards the census. And now we have more. So, there's more to this than... Because a lot of people will bring up the weed stuff. Well, why is it okay with weed, but it's not okay? Because it's a much bigger deal when we're talking about, border enforcement. Because we're talking about the balance of power between states. So yeah, it's important that the federal government controls that. Otherwise, you're going to have states you're going to eventually you're going to see the whole fucking country just. You're going to have states that just don't want to be a part of this country anymore. And can you blame them? Can you blame him? But yeah, she looks really good, man. I'm sorry. She's, I don't know. Is it just me? Is she growing on me? Because I don't remember her looking this hot before.
This United States military by this commander-in-chief and through this chain of command, through the Secretary of War, is lawful. And the courts have proven that. This administration has an unparalleled record at the Supreme Court because we are following the laws. We don't defy court orders. We do things by the books. And to suggest and encourage that active duty service members defy the chain of command is a very dangerous thing for sitting members of Congress to do. And they should be held accountable. And that's what the president wants to see. Phil.
Thank you.
All right. So
did she get fresh injections, bro? People are always like, man, Pink Trip's always simping out. Bro, I like women. I'm sorry. I fucking love women. I love looking at them. I think they're beautiful. I admire women. Okay? That's called being a man. It's not simping out. Simping out is when you just give your life away to a woman and have no control of your life. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just going, hey, she's hot. Okay? We're allowed to do that. All right? Don't be ashamed. I mean, it's like some of you guys don't even have a dick anymore. It's like, okay, we're allowed to look at a chick and go, she's good looking. She's good looking. There's nothing wrong with that, all right? That's not simping. Simping is a totally different thing. Oh, let's see. We got a whole report here. Let's see what CBS says.
We are referencing posts made to Truth Social by President Donald Trump overnight, where he talked about Democrats creating a video. And this is his response: seditious behavior punishable by death. Talking about that video that was created and then given to members of the U.S. military. Now, there was some back and forth there. You heard Nancy Cordes saying, well, what that video actually said.
Well, at another time, there would have, you know, if you would have tried this probably like in the 1700s, yeah, good luck. But this day and age, like, you could just do anything you want. If you're a government official, you're above the law.
Was that they should not follow unlawful orders by the president. But this obviously is the response by the president of the United States. So let's talk about it. Live now to CBS News White House reporter Aaron Navarro in Washington following that briefing. So, Aaron, your takeaway from what she just said.
I think it's notable, just to reference for our audience, what is at the heart of that video, of the reaction we got from President Trump this morning, which is the deployment of National Guard to American cities, which was the topic that kind of instigated this video from congressional Democrats.
Yeah, so again, this is all about that. And what you have right now is you have a left-wing judge appointed by Biden saying it's illegal. Okay, yeah, it's not illegal. That's just your fucking opinion. It will be overturned at some point once it gets to a judge who properly interprets the Constitution, you know, the Supreme Court most likely. But yeah, oh, it's illegal, guys. Don't follow. We have to allow illegals. We can't deport them. It's illegal to actually enforce border law, guys.
And while Levitt mentioned that they have won many court rulings, I think it's important to note that there's still a pending Supreme Court ruling on the National Guard troops who were sent to Chicago. That's why you saw a couple days ago the administration pull back troops from Chicago and Portland as the legal battles continue. You brought up President Trump's post, but I just want to bring up the quotes from that video that spurred all of this. As you mentioned, and as Nancy mentioned in her follow-up, these were Democratic members of Congress who said to active military and intelligence officers to say that they should refuse illegal orders.
See, the Democrats are smart enough to say not follow the president's orders, but to not follow an unconstitutional order. So in that case, I don't think it's technically sedition, because it's technically, you know, you shouldn't follow unconstitutional orders. But good luck with that. Good luck being like a sergeant who gets an order and goes, yeah, sorry, I'm not following that. That's unconstitutional. You're out of the military, dumb fuck. You're not the one usually that's going to have to make that decision later. Maybe in review, you can issue a complaint, and then later they can be like, yeah, that was an unconstitutional order. But in the moment, good luck. I hope, you know, I guess you don't like being a soldier, because you're not going to be one very long if you do that. I mean, obviously, if somebody's like, hey, yeah, go to some citizen's house and murder everybody, murder their family. Yeah, go to Detroit and just like start shooting civilians. Like, obviously, like that would be obvious, you know, oh no, sorry. Yeah, that would, I'm not. And I always wonder what would happen if, like, our government got so crazy that they literally tried to sick the military on citizens. Is the military going to listen? Is the military going to just start shooting citizens? Or are they going to go, fuck that, I'm going home? I wonder. That's usually very difficult. Usually you have to get, like, you'd have to, like, bring in a military from some foreign country. Like, you'd have to bring in Mexico's military, like, if you want to actually attack a popular. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, okay, let's keep going.
One of the quotes from that video is, quote, "The American people need you to stand up for our laws and our Constitution." That was panned by several Republicans, including Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, but Trump really ratcheted up the rhetoric this morning, claiming that they were engaging, these Democrats, in seditious behavior, quote, punishable by death. I think it's important to note Levitt was asked specifically if the president wants these members of Congress to be executed, which is one.
Yeah, Free Midwest. Yeah, you're right. They'd probably bring in like UN troops in that situation.
Read of what he posted this morning, and she started by saying out flat out no before criticizing the video at large. I think her saying it's, quote, sending a very, very dangerous message. The Democrats in this video is interesting given the blatant nature of the President Trump's post this morning.
Yeah, and there has been a lot of blowback. In fact, some prominent Democrats are asking the president to take that down. It sticks in my memory that some of their words, and I'm paraphrasing here, are that if he doesn't take this down, somebody's going to get killed. To Nancy Cordes' question to the press secretary regarding the risk of political violence.
They so want to take this political violence thing back. They really want people to forget about Charlie Kirk. They want to forget about the Trump assassination attempt and just be like, no, political violence is coming from the right. It's all the right wing, the political violence.
Yeah, and Senator Slotkin, as well as other Democrats that were in that video, put out a joint statement this morning saying, quote, every American must unite and condemn the president's calls for our murder and political violence. This is a time for moral clarity.
He didn't call for your murder. He called for your trial. And if you were to be found guilty, that's the punishment for sedition is execution, I'm sure they knew this. I'm sure that, this is the thing. Trump plays in their hands sometimes. I bet you this is the response they wanted from Trump, so they could play victim.
Cornpop_82 super chatted $5. Obama killed a citizen and military members carried it out.
Yeah, wasn't he an American that went and joined Al Qaeda? Right? Yeah, I mean Obama did some fucked up shit. Because that's definitely. I don't know what the rules are there. I don't know. Maybe I should look that up, but. What is, if you're an American citizen, does your due process just go away because you go and fight for a foreign military? I don't know. You would think you'd still have to have some due process. You couldn't just be executed without any due process. But yeah, Obama did a lot of bombing, man. He loved them drones, bro.
We'll see if President Trump adds on to what he has posted this morning, but certainly getting a lot of condemnation from Democrats.
Obama drone striked Americans in the U.S. on U.S. soil in a cabin, too? Really?
That's on Capitol Hill.
All right, Aaron Navarro in Washington, D.C.
I have to look that one up. I never heard that.
D.C. with that discussion there as Caroline Levitt is asked about that. Very
sweet Caroline, man. Sweet, sweet Caroline. All right, let's hear from the Trump side now. Let's hear from Stephen Miller just dropped the hammer on the insurrectionist Democrats who directed members of the military to defy orders. It's insurrection, plain, direct, on video. Let's see what he says here.
It is insurrection, plainly, directly, without question. And when you have one of the lawmakers on that video being unable to state in, as you say, lengthy cross-examination, a single so-called illegal order, it just proves the point. It's a general call for rebellion from the CIA and the armed services of the United States by Democrat lawmakers, saying that you have not only the right but the duty and the obligation to defy orders of the commander-in-chief, that those who carry weapons in America's name should defy their chain of command and engage in open acts of insurrection, that the CIA, the clandestine service, which isn't even legally authorized to operate in the United States, should engage in, again, acts of rebellion and insurrection. These lawmakers...
Does this mean maybe they might be losing control of the CIA? Because there's no doubt Trump's first term, the CIA were working against Trump and they were very Democratic friendly. I mean, they were basically working for Democrats. Maybe they're losing control of that. And this is like them trying to be like, hey, come on, guys. Don't listen to him. He's bad. I don't know.
Should honestly resign in disgrace and never return to public office again for even daring to think, let alone to say these words and to say them proudly. But it shows what a dangerous moment we're in. We have seen the Democratic Party nurse the flames of violence and insurrection against the federal government for the last 10 months. When you see this continuous campaign of violence against ICE officers and Border Patrol agents, when you see Democrat sanctuary politicians and Democrat sanctuary governors side with the rioters, side with the assaulters over federal law enforcement, and that spills even into juries and grand juries, when you see Democrat jurors engage in nullification to let off violent attackers who are engaging in physical violence, physical assault against federal officers. This is a dangerous moment. You have a political party, an organization, the Democrat Party, and their message is that any action, no matter how unlawful, no matter how dangerous, no matter how much it threatens constitutional order, is justified if it keeps Democrat policies in effect at any cost.
It does seem like this is a lot of this is about ICE. And, we've seen it. I've covered it extensively, what's happening in Chicago. People are saying Charlotte now. I haven't followed Charlotte. I've kind of stopped following it because it's like, just, I'll follow it some more. But, yeah, I mean, you have it's like an insurrection against the federal law enforcement, it's against ICE, against them doing their job. You have all these people following them around, harassing them with their cars, hitting them with their cars, trying to obstruct them from doing their job. And then you have this. This is really what it's about. We're not allowed to have a country, guys. We're not allowed to have borders. We're just not. So I tried to do a little research on this real quick. This is AI research, so take it for what it is. But I asked, did Obama do a drone strike on Americans in America? It says, no, President Barack Obama did not authorize or conduct any drone strikes on U.S. soil during his presidency. The U.S. drone program under Obama focused exclusively on counterterrorism operations abroad. Key context, strikes on American citizens abroad. The Obama administration did authorize drone strikes that killed 4 U.S. citizens overseas, but only one, Anwar al-Awlaki, an al-Qaeda propagandist, was intentionally targeted in Yemen in 2011. The other 3 were killed incidentally and not pre-targeted. Oh, man, so another wedding. Did he hit a wedding? Man, there's a lot of fuck ups. A lot of innocent people, a lot of civilians. Yep, bombing is ugly. So yeah, at least these two guys are planning on having Nick on here, because we still have the little Nick Fuentes civil war going on, where you have the neocons saying, no, we cannot talk to Nick. He must be deplatformed and destroyed, not allowed to have a voice. And here's Steven Crowder and Piers Morgan talking about it. It looks like they're both planning on having him on.
Because I'm curious, and sometimes I'm wondering where the curiosity goes when you have someone throw down some wolf bait like that. Well, you love Stalin? What do you mean? You mean you're fascinated how he was able to manipulate people? You mean all the people that he killed? You mean studying him to make sure we avoid it in the future? Or do you mean that he had some cool threads and smoked some cool pipes? I don't know the answer, because a lot of these people out there, both the old guard Republicans, who rightfully people have a problem with them, and this sort of new group of people, they're not actually communicating. And they'll say that they'll have these conversations, but in my experience, they very rarely will. And I have a track record of wanting to make that happen. So again, I extend the invitation, and I hope that you do too, Piers. I hope you have Nick on, and then send him my way next.
I want to see more heated debates with Nick. Again, the Tucker one was okay, but it was a little too friendly. I want to see him really have it out. But then Nick might not go on if he knows you're not going to be super friendly and actually really hit him and really debate some of the dumb shit he said.
I am moving to inviting him on, because I think there comes a point where you can't ignore somebody's rising influence. He is getting talked about so much right now that he's exuding an influence over people.
This is the right move, man. I've said it before. If you want to make everything worse, you want to make, if you believe it, they're all anti-Semitic Nazis and the biggest danger of this country. Well, you want to make it worse than just ban them from everything, make them into pariahs. You're just going to make it worse. You're going to make it worse.
I had the same argument really with someone like Andrew Tate, who I've had on a few times. I think it's important when someone has a big following and are saying whatever they want to say unchallenged, that they come on to somewhere like here, where I don't come at things from a partisan political ideology, and I challenge everybody, right? And I think that's actually a valuable exercise in public discourse. We don't live in the old days where people only had mainstream media outlets to do this stuff. People online now can have exponentially higher audiences, like Fuentes. And as their influence rises, so, in my opinion, does the legitimacy of talking to them and finding out what they really believe in.
Bro, are we going to get an episode of Piers Morgan where he gets Ben Shapiro and Nick on the same show? That'd be so fire, bro. I need that. I need it, man. Nick's got to start doing some of these hard debates, bro. He really does. I think it'd be good. It'd be good. Steven Crowder says on Piers Morgan's show that Nick Fuentes has legitimate grievances and hints at having a conversation with him.
People, though, Pierce, I do need to tell you, people like Nick Fuentes, they have a legitimate grievance. There was some gatekeeping going on. And I've experienced this too, by the way. It wasn't over the Israel thing. But you have some conservatives who are cozy with big tech, where they're fully monetized, their views are permissible, and people like Nick Fuentes, they're deplatformed. I'm at Rumble. I obviously would have pull at Rumble. I've been there for a long time. I have been painstakingly...
Well, Shapiro's a pussy, John Rafferty. He doesn't... If he really believes that we're facing the fucking greatest uprising of Nazism and blah, 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 and he's not willing to fucking debate, he's not willing to go in there and show everybody how stupid they are, what's he scared of? Is he scared of, like, losing? Is that what he's scared of? I don't know. I think that would be a bitch move, and it would show that Shapiro's... He's not made of the right stuff.
Be clear, Nick Fuentes,
which we already know is the case, so...
Of course should have a platform if he's not breaking the law. That's the difference between some of the old school conservatives who say free speech, but behind the scenes, they glad hand a little bit. And if these people are...
I guarantee you, look, people are getting more radical because of all the bannings. I guarantee it, man. Maybe it's hard to see how that plays out, but I guarantee you, when you ban people and you make them pariahs and you don't let them speak, and then they're feeling like they can't even speak their minds, like, you just make people more radical. Even if it's not in your face, it's behind the scenes. It's the conversations they have with their friends and their little parties, like, people will get more radical.
And I don't know that they are. That's why I'd like to have a conversation with them. We do need to ask what radicalized them. That's a valid, if we believe that they're radical. But I think they have some legitimate grievances. And you have one side saying, these people are despicable, these people are offensive. Those are victim bitch.
Bro, pseudonym, alias, Nick would not survive that, bro. He says Nick needs to do change my mind debates at HBCUs. So you basically want him to die. You want Nick to be murdered by a mob.
Words. Don't use those words. And then you have people trolling saying, I love Stalin. I don't think that anyone who's right-wing or conservative loves Stalin, but I'd like to follow up. I think it's interesting.
Yeah. Sometimes you wonder, is Nick just saying it, like, is it sort of like a form of rage bait? Like, yeah, I'm just going to say I love Stalin because it's going to be so out of the norm that people are going to go, wait, what are you fucking saying? And then you're going to piss people off, and it's going to generate controversy. And now they're trying to push a resolution to disavow Nick. Okay.
And finally, on anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism in America has reached a dangerous tipping point. Jewish Americans are facing threats, harassment, and violence at levels we have not seen in generations. And as I have said many times in this chamber, anti-Semitism is the canary in the coal mine. Where there's anti-Semitism, there lurks white supremacy and other pernicious forms of hate. Well, 3 days ago, the President of the United States declined to condemn Nick Fuentes' hateful views and defended Tucker Carlson's decision to give Fuentes a platform. The President was asked about his thoughts on the interview. He declined to condemn Nick Fuentes. That is disgusting.
Yeah, it's not. Rip Drive says they know exactly what they're doing. They want him to be famous. Look, this playbook was easy to see. I've been saying this is what they're going to do. Nick gave them all of the right language and clips that they needed. And yeah, they're going to just basically make Nick the face of America First, the face of Republicans. And yeah, this is not going to stop. We're going to hear about Nick every day, every single fucking day. Every debate, every time there's Democrats and Republicans talking, Democrats are going to bring up Nick. Well, you have Nick. Have you condemned Nick Fuentes? Because there's so much anti-Semitism on the right and blah, 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 blah. It's very predictable.
Donald Trump to excuse and protect the spread of Nick Fuentes' ideology confirms what many of us have long said. White supremacy and anti-Semitism are taking deep roots, unfortunately, within the Republican Party. Just as we saw from the leaked texts of young Republicans, just as we saw from text messages of administration officials, the Nick Fuentes saga on the right reveals that anti-Semitism and white supremacy have been growing with disturbing currency within the right wing and within the right wing of the Republican Party. But I know this is not true of everyone on the Republican side, especially not for many Republicans in this chamber. Therefore, I will soon lead a resolution here in the Senate rejecting Nick Fuentes and his white supremacist views, condemning Carlson's platforming of hate, and condemning anti-Semitism and white supremacy wherever and whenever it occurs. In the coming days, I will work to grow support for my resolution so the Senate can take a clear stand against hatred and anti-Semitism. I hope my Republican colleagues will join me in this effort and co-sponsor this resolution. Calling out anti-Semitism should not be a partisan issue. In fact, when we refuse to condemn anti-Semitism, when we stay silent and fail to reject anti-Semitic rhetoric, when we normalize hateful figures spewing disgusting anti-Semitism, that is when anti-Semitism spreads throughout society like a poisonous wildfire.
So, you have very little time to actually do anything because these guys barely work. They're on vacation most of the year. And instead of being like, hey, let me focus on like how I can make New York better and come up with ideas to help my citizens. No, it's just, let's just throw shit at some fucking edgy fucking podcast guy. Because at the end of the day, what is Nick Fuentes? Okay, look, I get it. He's starting a PAC. He wants to be political. But at the end of the day, he's just a fucking edgy podcast guy. He's not the Republican Party. He's not America First. He's just a fucking edgy podcast guy who does a good, entertaining podcast. But yeah, now he's the face of the Republican Party, guys.
Americans don't want to see that happen. So my resolution will give every single senator, a chance to make an important stand against hatred. The country must see us unite and fight this awful form of bigotry.
Yeah, congratulations. Congratulations. You're really getting stuff done there, buddy. So yeah, Rand Paul's been winning me over lately because he's been one of the only Republicans standing up against this bullshit ban on hemp that they pushed into the reopening bill. That they just snuck in there in the dead of night like a bunch of fucking cowards, bro. So yeah, I don't know, Rand Paul 2028. I don't know.
It's also this primitive notion that bourbon is fine, but THC is wrong. But then we also had.
I'm coming for your bourbon. I'm coming for you. You take away my shit, I'm gonna take away your shit. That's next. I'm gonna start collecting donations. I'm gonna build a giant movement. I'm gonna fucking become the most powerful lobbyist. And we're gonna bring back prohibition. We're gonna ban alcohol. Fuck you guys. We'll get rid of nicotine. We'll get rid of caffeine. We'll get rid of cigarettes. We'll get rid of cheeseburgers. You're allowed to eat fucking chicken and vegetables. That's it. Everything else is gonna be illegal. I mean, this game that they play, we're like, oh, it's so bad. Dude, you know how much shit is bad for you? Life is fucking bad for you. Oh, it's bad for the children. Okay, well then let's stop giving ice cream to children. Okay, no ice cream for children. Okay? Children can't go play outside because sometimes they skin their knees when they go outside and play. So no more of that either. That's bad for children. Yeah, And how do I know that your child didn't take a drink from your beer one time? When I was a kid, my dad would be like, here, have a drink. Here, take a drink, because they knew you'd be like, ugh. So yeah. I mean, kids are getting fed alcohol from their parents. So yeah, everything needs to be banned, guys. Everything that has any possible negative consequence in people's life, it needs to be banned. If we're gonna do it with weed, we need to do it across the board. We need to be consistent. Okay, we need to be consistent.
Cannabis state senators voting against it because the cannabis industry saw it as competition. So alcohol saw it as competition, cannabis saw it as competition, and then people from the Stone Age like McConnell, who saw Reefer Madness in 1925 live at the matinee, are still thinking the world's going to the devil. We are going to all die if the Reefer Madness is exploded. And really, it's a lot more complicated than that. I had people come up to me on the floor of the Senate and they said, well, my mom takes a gummy to sleep at night. And it's like, who am I to tell somebody's...
No. She needs to be arrested right now. How dare her? She should be taking Ambien, you know? Ambien's the proper thing to do. Yeah, it makes you fucking wake up and sleepwalk and maybe kill somebody in your sleep, or, you know, maybe you go and you try to cook some food and you burn the whole house down because you're sleepwalking on Ambien. That's fine. But a little CBD gummy, that's a problem. You need to go to jail. You need to go to jail. The only dangerous drugs that are allowed are the ones your doctor give you, okay? Not something you buy from a gas station. What the fuck? It's gas station weed, guys.
Mom or grandmom or them themselves that has trouble sleeping. Half of America has trouble sleeping. Who am I to say, oh, you...
Not me. You know why I don't have trouble sleeping? Yeah, weed.
You can take Ambien, you can take Percocet, you can take whatever legal heroin the pharmaceutical companies will sell you, but you can't take a gummy with a little bit of THC in it from a plant. So I don't know. I'm disappointed in it, but it's a big industry. It's a $25 billion industry. It's going to be wiped out. And there's a lot of the people who use these products that are mad now. And I tell them, call Mitch McConnell and frankly, call some of the Democrats.
Well, good luck getting him to answer. The dude's barely alive. Mitch McConnell right now is sitting somewhere just staring into a wall in some fucking other dimension, like barely even, he's not even really here anymore. He's not. Mitch McConnell's gone, guys. I don't know if you know this, but he's essentially dead. He's the Walking Dead.
Voted to ban it too. It was I don't know. I'm not done fighting on it. And we're going to see if we can get it reversed.
And then they're like, oh, weed, you shouldn't be able to do anything on weed. Bro, you know how many video games I get stoned out of my mind and I play that video game and I'm better than when I'm sober? Like, yeah, it's a you problem, okay? And it's not the same for everybody, obviously. Not everybody can eat peanuts. Some people get killed. They die when they eat fucking peanuts, right? So it's not for everybody. But let's let adults live their fucking lives, please. Thank you, Rand Paul. Thank you for being the voice of reason.
But it has helped me not need alcohol or use alcohol for relaxation. It works for me. It works.
Oh, fuck. Now I'm going to start liking Chris Cuomo, too. I didn't know that would ever happen. Fucking Chris Cuomo. Bro, are you gay? You gay, bro? Are you gay?
For my joints. And I've had so many people
Nothing wrong with it, by the
pain
way.
maladies, with psychological maladies, with real disease that they use the hemp for symptomatic relief. And it seems like all those people got a middle finger from this cabal that got together just to preference alcohol and weed against their interests.
Yeah, and you're right, it's been a movement. Now, I have friends, there are many people I know, they're trying to have less alcohol. And like I say, look, well, I'm an advocate. I've actually never tried it. It's not a big deal, but I don't use hemp products, but I am for freedom. And it always reminds me, and this is one of the most stark things I've ever seen in politics. Remember when Romney got the nomination and a young man came up in a wheelchair with MS and he was going to all the debates and he looked at Mitt Romney and he said, would you deny me the right to use medical marijuana for my MS? And Romney looked right at him and said, yep.
Not surprising. Romney's one of the biggest pieces of shit out there. And this is what they just did. This is what they did to my rest in peace, my dead uncle, who, look, I don't know if you know people that have gone through chemo, you struggle with basic things like eating because you don't have an appetite, okay? Because you're poisoning your body. You struggle with things like sleeping. And a little fucking edible gummy made such a big difference. All of a sudden, holy shit, I'm hungry. I can eat something. And guess what? When you're on chemo, you have to eat or you die. You know, he became like a fucking rail. He was so thin. He was never a thin guy. He's a big, tall. He looked like Abe Lincoln, my Uncle Lincoln. He looked like fucking Abraham Lincoln. And his name was Lincoln. We called him Uncle Lincoln. It's crazy. I don't know. He might have been related to Abraham Lincoln. But he fucking got, really bad. Chemo was really rough for him. And one of the things that brought him some relief was this dangerous fucking THCA weed gummy. Oh my God. It's just fucking sad, man. It's sad that we're 2025 and we're right back to this bullshit.
And but the callousness of that, the uncaring callousness, and also the presumption that you know what's best. And somehow a pharmaceutical company that makes billions of dollars, their product is okay, but it's not okay to have marijuana or THC.
Yeah, because what matters is, do you have lobbyists? That's what matters. Now, it doesn't matter what's the right move. What's the right move for the people? No, that doesn't matter. It's which lobbyist has the most money to put into these corrupt fucking politicians' pockets.
Frankly, it's just none of your damn business. We are at.
Oh, I hit the table so hard it played the video.
adults. I'm fine with the rules, keeping it out of kids' hands, but by making it illegal, you'll actually drive it back into the hands of kids because it'll go back to the black market. And guess what? When you buy,
I'm tired of this slander on THCA. You're saying THCA is half fake? Okay, let me do some research because I'm not an expert on this shit, but I've smoked weed, real weed, my whole life. I'm from Texas, so most of the weed I got most of my life came from Mexico. It was called dirt weed. So compared to the dirt weed I used to have to smoke in Texas before it was legal and all the Colorado shit started coming down, THCA is a million times better than the dirt weed I used to get when I was growing up. Let's see, THCA, how is it made? Let's see, let's get into the details here. Everybody's got their whole fucking thing, man. They got their, it's this, it's fake, it's that, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, specifically Delta-9 THC, is the primary psychoactive compound in cannabis responsible for the high. It's one of over 100 cannabinoids naturally produced by the cannabis sativa plant. In its raw form, THC, is lab-made THC? Okay, hold on. Okay, now it's just going too hard. Okay, here we go. Natural production, biosynthesis in the cannabis plant. THC is produced by the plant through a biochemical pathway in specialized glands called trichomes, tiny resinous hairs on the flower, leaves, and stems. This process starts from basic plant metabolites and builds up to cannabinoids. Here's how it works. The plant uses simple sugars and amino acids to create geranyl pyrophosphate, formation of CBGA. Where's the THC? Enzyme action. Okay. These combine to form a cannabinogenic acid, the mother cannabinoid, a precursor to THC, CBD, and others. Enzyme action. THA synthase, a plant enzyme, converts CBGA into THCA. Storage. THCA is stored in the it's weed, bro. It's just weed that they do some shit to so it doesn't fucking test as normal weed or whatever. I mean, look, I get it. You guys will never understand. You'll never understand because it's complicated and it's hard for me to understand. Let's see if we got any more information in here. By technological production, modern yeast methods. Since 2019, engineers have bioengineered yeast to produce THC from sugar. Genetic engineering. Insert cannabis genes for olive tolic acids. I mean, these are... basically, insert cannabis genes into yeast DNA. Feed yeast sugar, glucose. It metabolizes into CBGA, then THCA. Heat the output to convert THCA to THC. So that's what everybody tells me. It's like once you light it up, it's essentially just THC, right? Once you actually set it on fire, it's just regular THC. This farming method yields up blah 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 extraction. Yeah. So okay, yeah. It's just. I've also heard it's just weed that's like harvested early, as well. I don't know, man. But you guys, you keep painting it like it's fucking spice or some shit. It's definitely not. And it essentially has the same effect on me that weed has always had. And it's kind of great because it's not as strong, which is good because I'm past the period of my life where I want to get blown out every time I smoke. I just want a little bit of the relaxation effect. But yeah, I mean, whatever. You guys are just, it pisses me off, all the fucking propaganda around this shit, dude.
Things that from a drug dealer around the corner, they don't check your ID. When you go to the store, they'll check your ID. So legal things are actually much better controlled than illegal things.
Yeah, we saw that with
really?
prohibition.
Is that true?
Right. And, it becomes a taboo and you have a secondary market. And also, I mean, look, you're going to take this away. Where are kids going to go? They're going to go back to alcohol, right? We've seen a reduction in underage drinking. This cannot help with that. And I don't know the last time I heard of a DUI for hemp, or anybody getting hurt because of hemp.
That's what everybody says. I don't really understand it, but Shining Bright 2649 says THCA, when exposed to heat, smoking, vaping, baking, or decarbon exhalation, these are big words, THCA loses a carboxyl group, C00H, and converts into THC, the psychoactive compound. I mean, dude, I don't know. Maybe you've never tried it, but it's essentially weed. It has the same exact effect on me as weed because, like the guy said, once you light it up, it's essentially just THC.
Being addicted to
it's a workaround so that our fucked up state can actually have some sort of version of legal weed.
Hemp and certainly alcohol.
And I have had bad like there was this Delta 0 shit, Delta 10 that came out that I tried and it was fucking terrible. So there are some fucking experiments that came out terrible, okay? Like Delta 8 is not THCA, Delta 8 is like very weak, but it works great for sleep. So if you're just looking for sleep, you know, Delta 8's fine. You're not really going to get high. You might, if you've never smoked before, you might feel a little tiny bit high, but that's it. But then came THCA and it was like, oh, perfect. Fucking beautiful. Essentially, like the guy said, it's essentially just fucking THC.
Is one of the substances that kills more people than just about anything else in our society.
Yeah, it was kind of lame to hear some of these people from the alcohol industry that were lobbying against it. But to have the alcohol industry sit around a big table with me and they sound like mad that they would ban alcohol, but they just want to ban hemp.
Synthetic weed is poison, says Jay Sludge, not THCA. Well, yeah, I there was some shit I tried. Delta, was it like Delta 0 or Delta 10? They were like, this is the spiritual THC or some shit. It was supposed to be so much stronger than regular weed, like to the point where you might like trip or something. And I tried it and it had no effect on me. It was one of those things like where you take it and you feel nothing. So then you take a little more and then you green out. So I think like the bad experiences might have came from this shit, because I had a bad experience with it. It was fucking useless. It either greened me out, which is like, you know, when you get like real paranoid and your heart races and all that, or it did nothing at all. THCA is not like that. And I'm somebody with a fucking ton of experience smoking weed, okay? I'm not some fucking newbie that can't tell the difference between the feeling of real weed and THCA. Like I got a lot of life experience with this shit. I mean, we're talking 30 fucking plus years. No, not 30. What are we at? 25, around 25 years. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm not a chemist to be able to explain it right.
But they're still fine with alcohol. The hypocrisy of it is, comes in bounds.
Yep, they are hypocrites, Ran. You're right. You're right, Daddy Ran. Says he's going to introduce a bill to let state hemp laws override the new federal ban. I don't think it's going to pass, but it'd be nice.
Do you think you have any chance of getting this removed from becoming law?
We're talking with the people who are in the industry that are going to lose their jobs. My initial idea, and this is I'm going to present next week, I'll put in as a bill, is to say that if your state has already passed a framework for hemp, that supersedes the federal law. Now, traditionally, if the courts interpret it, federal law trumps state law. But if you write a federal law that says specifically that this federal law trumps your other federal law, if you have a state.
It's not a horrible dependence user. Okay. The idea that people get hooked to weed, those are like weak-minded fucking people. The same type of people that can't stop eating like cookies or some shit. It's fucking retarded. So I started when I was 15. It's the first time I smoked weed. In my lifetime, I've quit many times. I got charged with possession of marijuana at 17. I had to quit for 1.5 years. Not a problem. I quit last year. Not a problem. The only real issue I had was I didn't sleep as well, because, weed helps you sleep really fucking well. So I sleep great. But during that period, I didn't. So I got the Delta 8 gummies that were like, wouldn't get me high, but would help me sleep. It's not hard to quit. I've also had to quit for jobs many, many fucking times. So many times I've had to quit for drug tests, and I've been out of town. Like I would be out of town working like the whole year. I didn't even smoke. It's not fucking hard, dude. The amount of propaganda and fucking demonizing bullshit around this shit is old, man. It's old. It's like you guys, I don't know. I mean, when I was growing up for the longest time, like it was rare to find somebody that acted like a 1950s fucking senator who just watched Reefer Madness, but everybody's acting like that now. It's weird.
Regulatory framework, that might work. And actually it would be an impetus for states that want to have hemp to go ahead and regulate it and ban it from kids under 21 and have some rules. And there frankly need to be some rules. And, for example, you can't go to the store and buy a gummy that has 5 milligrams of THC in it and it has 100 milligrams in it. That's fraud. And it's also a crime because you're endangering somebody by selling them something that isn't what it says it is. And we have laws against that already, but you can put that in a regulatory framework. You can decide about how much is a reasonable amount in a package. And these are things a lot of the states.
Donnybrook, just wait. I'm going to find out everything that you like and I'm going to ban it, bro. Oh, you're a junkie for caffeine, bro? Try to quit drinking coffee, Donnybrook. Maybe you're one of the few people that don't drink coffee. Try to quit drinking coffee. See how you feel. See how you feel. You'll feel like a junkie pretty quick when the headaches start and the fucking muscle aches start. But that's fine, right? Coffee's fine. But yet weed, when I quit, I have no side effects whatsoever, other than I might not sleep as well, which will last a little, it would maybe last like a week. And then it will go away. It's like, come the fuck on, dude. You guys are full of shit. If you're going to refer to people that smoke weed as junkies, you're just a fucking retard, to be honest.
We're already doing. But the irony of it is the states that had limitations, you can't buy it under 21, all of that's being superseded by federal law that doesn't do anything on age, just sort of bans the product, but doesn't do anything about the age limits.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do. Yeah, move it to the black market because, you know, drug dealers are always checking IDs. And yeah, you know, why have that $30 billion actually in our market, in our economy? Yeah, no, just send it to the cartels. Send it to the black market. That's the way to go, guys. That's the better solution, isn't it? Yep. Anna Kasparian reads the leaked documents proving Jeffrey Epstein was working directly for Israel. I think is this a done deal now? Is it just basically facts that he was working with Mossad? Is that what we're going to get here? Because that wouldn't surprise me.
Spocko super chatted $4.99. Didn't he this nonsense start because William Randolph Hearst was afraid of competition from hemp?
I've heard a lot of different ideas about that. Yeah, like the cotton industry wanted to basically, you know, not because hemp is fucking great. It's cheap and probably would have, you know, been a big dent in the cotton industry. So there's that. Also, you know, there's the racist idea that like this was a way to deport Mexicans. You know, you make marijuana illegal and it like demonizes Mexicans, and now you can deport Mexicans because they all had weed on them. There's a lot of theories, man. A lot of theories. You know, also it makes people lazy and blah 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 blah. One thing I know that weed does that I've always enjoyed is it kind of gets you out of your little bubble. It allows you to kind of think outside the box, for lack of a better way of putting it. I know there's definite benefits to creativity. I know that for sure, 100%. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Maybe they didn't want people to be creative and to like actually think about things, actually to sit down and get introspective and go, why are we doing things the way we do them? Isn't there a better way to do it? I don't know. Whatever, man. I'm sure there's lots of reasons, but I've heard different explanations to why they did that. But yeah, that's one of the most common ones because it was going to compete with cotton.
So let's get to some of the headlines that were featured over at DropSite News because they poured over the Ehud Barak emails to Epstein, which of course were leaked as part of.
Yeah, I get that argument. John Rock says it's not good for everybody. Some people have no self-control. I get that. I've seen, you know, I haven't seen people become weed junkies. You know, you see people that become drug addicts, and then people go, "Oh, well, because weed was the gateway drug." That was always going to happen. If it wasn't weed, that was the gateway drug. It would have been cocaine. It would have been alcohol. It would have been something else. These are people that want to escape reality. They want to they're just not happy, and it's a form of like suicide. You know, they want to. Because you think about it, like heroin's the ultimate one, where it's like I want to escape reality. I want to be in my own little heaven, fucking world where like I'm just feeling bliss 24/7 and no pain, like. These are people that just like they're giving up in life and they don't want to accept reality. But the idea, what was the comment again? Because I had another point I wanted to make. Just like you should not have it at all. Yeah. Just like alcohol, some people should not have any at all. I agree. But that's the same thing with a lot of things, right? Like there's some people with food, they can't stop eating, right? They can't stop fucking eating sugary things and they become 400 pounds. So should we ban sugar? Should we ban alcohol now as well? Because some people can't stop at 2 drinks. They got to fucking drink until they pass out. So now we got to ban alcohol from all the people who drink it responsibly. I don't know, man. I don't want a nanny state that tells me what to do. And I realize there comes with downsides to that. Some people need a nanny state because they're fucking idiots. But is that who should, is that who we should be structuring society around, the fucking idiots or around the responsible people? Or should we just take the mindset of like, let people have their freedom?
A hack. They also reported on the various documents and emails that were released by both Democrats and Republicans in the House Oversight Committee. So with that in mind, I mean, this is based on hard evidence. They were able to report the following stories. Epstein helped broker an Israeli security agreement with Mongolia. Interesting. Epstein helped Israel build a back channel to Russia during the Syrian civil war. That's not all. Epstein helped Israel sell a surveillance state to the Ivory Coast. So let's get to some of the headlines that were featured over at DropSite News because they.
So that's crazy. So I mean, definitely there's some relationship there, obviously, if he's doing that. Yeah. I wonder if we ever get the reality of, how connected Epstein was to governments, Israel, United States included. I'm sure it's both. And someone says alcohol is not lame. Alcohol is totally fucking lame. You're going to call my shit lame? I fucking hate alcohol. Okay. Occasionally I'll have a drink, but here's what happens with alcohol, right? You have a couple drinks and then maybe you catch a little buzz, but then as you get older, the cost of that buzz becomes so much. It becomes so much, like the headaches afterwards, the feeling like shit the next day. You don't sleep well. You think you sleep well, but you actually don't. And it's essentially, you're poisoning your body. So yeah, alcohol is cool. No, alcohol is fucking terrible, bro. It's terrible. And that's why I like weed, because I have no side effects. I don't wake up the next day hungover. I can smoke, and then as soon as like a couple hours passes by, I'm back to normal and I feel fine. Big difference with alcohol.
They poured over.
Plus, I don't lose control. I don't lose like self-control and start acting like an idiot. In fact, I have the opposite. I become more fucking thoughtful.
The Ehud Barak emails to Epstein, which of course were leaked as part of a hack. They also reported on the various documents and emails that were released by both Democrats and Republicans in the House Oversight Committee. So with that in mind,
it's because CWG says I drink beer every day, I'm great. It's because you're used to it, CWG, right? Like if you drink every day, you get used to feeling shitty, right? And maybe you're just having a beer or two and that's fine, but every day that's still bad. Like it's actually better to fucking just have like binge drink on the weekends and not drink on the weekdays, because you give your body actual time to fucking recover. Whereas if you're drinking every day, it's not good, bro. It's not good. And you get used to feeling shitty. It becomes normal. Yeah, booze also makes you fat as shit.
$1.99. Booze makes you fat as shite.
It also makes you age. Like you age like crazy, bro. And it makes you like fat in weird ways. It's so terrible. It's so bad for you. But I think people should have the right to drink. As long as they're not getting in a car and fucking murdering somebody, they have, you want to sit at home and drink a couple beers, that's fine. Right? You want to destroy your liver, that's fine. But stop trying to fucking control me, bro. Because if you keep trying to control me, I'm telling you, I'm going to dedicate my entire life to forming a fucking giant lobbyist group to take everything you love away from you, you fucking asshole.
I mean, this is based on hard evidence. They were able to report the following stories. Epstein helped broker an Israeli security agreement with Mongolia. Interesting.
Jeffrey Epstein helped broker Israeli security agreement with Mongolia. Wow, that's, sure sounds like he's working with, we need these files.
Israel build a back channel to Russia during the Syrian civil war.
I don't know, man. Are we protected? Dude, it's going to be so fucked up if we're protecting all of this shit just for Israel. If we're protecting everything, we're not giving transparency and we're covering everything up and it's just for Israel. It's not even the United States that are working with this guy and fucking colluding with him. That's going to be really fucked up. We'll see. I tend to think it was more than just the Israeli government. I think it was everybody. Somebody sent me this on Discord yesterday, and this is pretty funny. This just shows you how stupid some of these people are.
You talked about Republicans.
Which, by the way, where are we at? 64 likes? Okay. Again, we're already an hour and 20 minutes in. The time fucking flies. If you're enjoying the show, please give me a humble thumbs up on the thumbs up button if you could do that. Links are in the description if you want to support the show. And also link to Discord if you want to join us on Discord. And super chats if you want to have your message read and reacted to. Thank you guys for the support. It's much appreciated.
Taking money from a Jeffrey Epstein. Here's what you said.
Who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly. Mitt Romney, the NRCC.
Oh shit, Mitt Romney took money from Jeffrey Epstein? I thought that wouldn't surprise me.
Lee Zeldin, George Bush, Win Red, McCain Palin, Rick Lazio.
Damn. All right, we need to kick these guys out of the Republican Party if that's the case.
Mentioned Lee Zeldin there. He's now a cabinet secretary. He responded and said it was actually Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who's a doctor that doesn't have any relation to the convicted sex trafficker.
It was a different Jeffrey Epstein. They couldn't even do their fucking due diligence. They're just like, yeah, Jeffrey Epstein. It's Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, not even the same guy. Fucking hilarious, bro. What a fuck up.
Unfortunate for that doctor, but that is who donated to a prior campaign of his.
That is unfortunate if your name is Jeffrey Epstein. That's gotta suck. Like you have a name your whole life and it's just a name, just like any other name, and then somebody with your same name becomes the greatest fucking pedophile sex pest in the world, and now you got the same name as the guy. Oh man, that sucks because you only get one life to live, and now you the rest of your life you have to live with everybody seeing your name and going, "Oh, Jeffrey Epstein, huh?"
Do you want to correct the record on the people that?
Listen, I never said that it was that Jeffrey Epstein. Just so that people understand, when you make a donation, your picture is not there, and because they decided to spring this.
Dude, yeah.
At the Dashing Rogue super chatted $5. Thoughts on drug manufacturing legalization like meth labs? Most won't talk about the environmental effects of the drugs.
The environmental effects of the drugs? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the black market. You know, for as bad as we say all these drugs are, they're worse being in the black market. Can you make these things go away? Can you just snap your finger and they disappear? Yeah, if we could snap our fingers and make meth disappear, great. I'd be for that. Same thing with guns. If we could snap our fingers and guns don't exist anymore, okay, great. I mean, it's going to suck putting on fucking armor and having to fight with a sword, but great. Okay, I'm great. We can ban guns. We can remove them, but you can't. All right. So which one does more harm? Having it hidden in the black market where people get drugs that who knows what they're cut with and what's, you know, more overdoses, you know, people having to live outside the system to feed their addiction? Or should you just legalize it and try to make it as safe as fucking possible? Because it's not going away. I don't know. That's a tough question. And sometimes I find myself on both sides of that. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, of course we can't legalize fentanyl. But at the same time, but people are still doing fentanyl. It's not going to stop people from doing fentanyl.
It's on us in real time.
That's
I
a tough
wanted the
question.
Republicans to think about what could potentially happen because I knew that they didn't even try to go through the FEC. So my team, what they did is they Googled, and that is specifically why I said a Jeffrey Epstein. Unlike Republicans, I at least don't go out and just tell.
No, guys, what I'm saying is if you could snap your finger and there would be no more guns, there'd be no more nuclear weapons. Like the reality of people think if you ban something, it's just going to disappear. It's not. It's just going to become worse because it goes, you know, it's done in a black market way.
Lies. Because it was not the same one, that's fine. But when Lee Zeldin had...
You guys got to really listen to the substance of what I'm saying and stop picking out little things without any context to the entire fucking point I'm making.
Something to say, all he had to say was it was a different Jeffrey Epstein. He admitted that he did receive donations from a Jeffrey Epstein, so at least I wasn't trying to mislead people. Now, have I dug in to find out who this doctor is? I have not. So I will trust and take what he says is that it wasn't that Jeffrey Epstein, but I was not attempting to mislead anybody. I literally had maybe...
Yeah, you weren't trying to mislead anybody. So she just fucked up, basically. She just fucked up and didn't take the time to realize this is actually Dr. Jeffrey Epstein. But I think she knew because she said... When she did say, she said, a Jeffrey Epstein. So I think she knew this is not even the right Jeffrey Epstein, but she didn't fucking care.
20 minutes before I had to do that debate.
Yeah, but people might see that and say, well, you're trying to make it sound like he took money from
I did not know.
A registered sex offender.
No, but I literally did not know. When you search FEC files, and that's what I had my team to do, I texted them and I said, listen, we're going up. They are saying that she took donations.
Right, but someone might say, well, your team should have done the homework to make sure it wasn't the convicted sex trafficker.
Within 20 minutes, you could not find that out, not from just doing a quick search on FEC. So, number one, I made sure that I was clear that it was a Jeffrey Epstein, but I never said that it was specifically that Jeffrey Epstein because I knew that we would need more time to.
Yeah, so she knew she was lying. I think she knew the whole time they were fucking lying. It's so stupid, bro. It's so fucking stupid. Terrified Senator Chris Murphy is confronted with the harsh reality that the Democrat Party will be obliterated by the Epstein files being released. He says, so what? We'll see. I mean, you understand, the Democrats that vote Democrat aren't going to give a fuck, right? So to actually obliterate the Democrat Party, you would need the Democrats to actually give a fuck and not go out to vote for Democrats, which is not going to happen.
You mentioned the investigations into Democrats who had been named in the files that were released by the Epstein estate. One of the things the president did say, and again, he signed it overnight, no signing ceremony, no TV cameras, no nothing, but he did put out a Truth Social release where he noted that Democrats have been mentioned, again, in what has been released so far. What if there are more names connected to the Democratic Party that come out as a result of this?
So what? I mean, yeah, I'm sure that there are Democrats in those files. There are Republicans in those files. There are, Wall Street executives who have no political affiliation. What we want is to understand who was involved in this. I mean, I don't think the president is so selfless that he was, stopping the release of these files for so long because he was protecting his friends. I just think it stands to reason that he's very much connected to this scandal.
I think you should see it as a bad sign, Chris Murphy, because now that he's flipped, that tells me one thing. Whatever they're going to release, it's not going to have anything with Trump in there, anything damning. It's going to have a bunch of damning shit about Democrats. Otherwise, I don't think Trump would ever agree to release it. So I do have a feeling this is going to end up being pretty bad for Democrats.
And we may or may not know the extent of that, because it could be that the president is going to try to find a way to redact any information connected to him from those files. But to me, it just doesn't matter the political affiliation. The law is the law. They need to release the files.
All right.
We'll see. I don't think they're going to. I still have a hard time believing that they'll actually release the files. I think they're going to open up more investigations, or they're going to hide behind, protecting innocent people and protecting victims, and we'll get a bunch of redacted bullshit. It's going to be more nothing burgers like every other Epstein release. That's what I have a feeling. People are going to be very disappointed. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe it'll be great. This is wild. Look, I am against socialism right now. But there is a future where if there are no jobs and we have robots, machines, AI doing all of the work, and we have more production than we ever had, and like nobody has to work because we got robots to do all the fucking work, and we're still a wealthy country. It's still lots of money being generated. In that situation, I don't know what else we do other than socialism. Maybe other people could figure it out. How do you keep a capitalist society when there are no jobs, right? I mean, I'm sure maybe somebody could come up with some ideas. The idea of like everybody owns a robot, so it's still capitalist, and you just, your work, the robot's doing your work for you and represents you. Like, okay, maybe. But, if we have robots doing everything, you would think there'd be, so much production, maybe the price of goods would go down so low. And I mean, I guess you still have to pay for the robots. So they're still, I don't know, man. It's so hard to envision this future.
And if you,
somebody says nobody has to work. Nobody had to get paid. There is a scary side of this too, because it's like, do I trust the government to actually look after the citizens and make sure the citizens are taken care of? Or are they just going to fucking run with this and enrich themselves as we just become fucking slaves, man? I don't know. We're definitely in for a new world. A new world will be dawning here soon because of this. And what that's going to look like, how that's going to turn out, that's hard to predict.
If you go out long enough, assuming there's a continued improvement in AI and robotics, which this seems likely, if you go out long enough, assuming there's a continued improvement in AI and robotics, which this seems likely, the money will stop being relevant at some point in the future. Now, there will still be constraints on power, like electricity and mass. The fundamental physics elements will still be constraints, but I think at some point currency becomes irrelevant.
Jensen, any thoughts?
By the way, the NVIDIA earnings call is later today.
And by the way, since currency is relevant.
Cheers.
Elon just wants to share with you some breaking news.
It says a robot can't do my job. Well, once they develop robots, okay, Like you already have the AI, which can basically be the brain of the robot, right? And that's just going to keep getting better. And then it's just a matter of designing the human form, being able to make something that can do what humans do, that has hands, that can do it, you know. Once they can do that, once you have a robot that has hands, that can grasp, that can turn, that can, you know, it's at that point, yeah, if the robots can start doing plumbing and start replacing air conditions and fixing your cars, like, forget about it. But as of right now, yes, those are the safe jobs. Being a plumber, working with your hands, you know, laying drywall, fucking welding. Gonna be, I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I guarantee you, all the smartest minds in the world are going to be working their ass off to figure out how to put you out of work and get a robot that can do what you do. And who knows, man, the speed of progress, maybe 10 to 20 years, they'll have that. They'll have a robot that moves and can do everything a fucking human can. And at that point, we're pretty cooked. Or I don't know, maybe it'll be glorious, and the human species will be freed from all this useless labor to pursue the greatest ideals of life. I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably be pretty old, maybe dead at that point. So,
the two of us would like to share some breaking news.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Elon usually knows what the fuck he's talking about. I don't think he's talking out of his ass here. Remember, Elon was one of the ones that was quick to blow the whistle on AI. Those were some huge episodes on Rogan where he was like, it's coming and I don't know what to do. You know, we got to make sure it's in the right hands. And he's right. Here we are. Now we have this AI world where you already have tons of jobs, you know, that can be replaced by AI and are being replaced. So I didn't watch this, but let's pull it up. Why are young men listening to Nick Fuentes? Tucker explains. He even had Nikki Haley's son on. Nikki Haley's son is a groiper, which is hilarious because Nikki Haley's like the worst of the worst neocons. But yeah, let's see what he has to say here. I haven't watched this, so I don't know. I was just like, this seems interesting. Let's watch it. We're running out of shit to talk about.
Well, it looks like all the screaming about Nick Fuentes on the internet is finally dying down.
You know, I love me some Tucker.
Spocko super chatted $1.99. Robots will be the Mexicans of the future.
Yeah, maybe we should design them like Mexicans as well. Make them like short, make them look like Mexicans, give them bandanas, you know? I think that'll make people feel like at home if it's still Mexican robots. Make sure they have like you know, some Tejano music blasting. And then it'll be like nothing happened, you know? It'll just be like just another day.
Down a little bit. It couldn't go on forever, though it seemed like it might. And that's a good thing because, after all, there's a lot else going on in the world, some of it important. And
thank you for the super chat, brother. Somebody says, if robots are Mexicans of the future, what will the Mexicans be? It's a good question. It's a good question, man. I don't know. I mean, Mexicans are hard workers, bro. You can't take that away from them. You know, that's one thing that Mexicans are good. They work their asses off and they love it. They love it. Like, I have an uncle who, he would work a job. He you know, for the city, he worked his ass off. He'd get home and he would work on his house. And the dude took a little 2-bedroom, tiny little house. And by the time he retired, it was a fucking 2-story, 4-bedroom fucking giant house by his own hands. Because all that dude did was work all day for the city, get home and fucking build, you know, do work around the house. He added a 2nd story. I mean, it was a lifetime of work, but he loved it. That's what he loved. He didn't do it because he was forced to. He did it because he loved fucking working, bro. And someone like me, I never understood it. I'm like, don't you want to just relax tonight and watch some TV? No, he would work his ass off. He was also a Vietnam vet. He would work his ass off and then he would go and sit in front of the TV and fall asleep to like war movies. I never understood that because you think of like vets, like they don't want to hear like gunshots and stuff, but he would sleep to gunshots. He would go to sleep with some war movie in the background, people killing each other, and he's just sleeping. I don't know. He handled Vietnam pretty well.
Watching people day after day stand up to basically make the same point. I'm a good person, unlike him. Not that interesting or edifying or even really informative. I mean, we definitely learned that there are quite a few professional conservatives who are not that conservative in any sense that really matters. Some of them are fraudulent or sad or kind of stuck in nonprofit jobs because they can't get another, and your sympathy goes out to them. But listening to them talk day after day really didn't teach us anything. But it doesn't mean that there aren't lessons to be learned. In fact, there's one.
Just a reminder, because I did get off the point. This is about why are young men listening to Nick Fuentes? Tucker's going to attempt to explain it, okay? Because nobody understands young people better than old-ass Tucker here. By the way, I love Tucker, so we're going to listen to him. Let's see what he says.
Important lesson, and this was really the reason to interview Nick Fuentes in the first place. And the lesson is that a lot of young men in America, mostly white but not exclusively, listen to Nick Fuentes really carefully. And the lesson that our professional bettors in Washington have drawn over the past few weeks is that means they're as bad as Nick Fuentes. They're Nazis too. But of course, they're not Nazis by and large. They're just American young people. And so the question is, and it's a pressing question if you care about the future of the country, why have they been listening to Nick Fuentes? Sincerely, like, what is this? Why aren't they listening to somebody from the Heritage Foundation or the Daily Wire?
I think one thing could be why, because like young people like to revolt. They like people that are outside the system, that are giving a fuck you to the system, that are edgy. I mean, that's how it was when I was a kid. I liked all the rock stars that were like revolting against the system, that were like, fuck the system, fuck everything. And that's Nick. Nick's that guy. Nick's the bad boy. Nick's the bad boy they look to, who's like, yeah, he's not taking any shit. He doesn't even care. He'll say the N-word. Oh, what a badass.
Why do they believe Nick Fuentes more than they believe the people who think they ought to have a monopoly on the attention of young conservatives? That is a really important question. And what does it say, not simply about their attitudes, but about the problems they face, the society they grew up in, the future they imagine for themselves? What does it say about all of that Fuentes is so popular among young men? After all, young men really are kind of the basis of our hope for continuing as a country. So if they're off in some direction that you don't understand, it's probably incumbent on you to try to understand it to the extent you can. You know, it's hard to understand other people's motives, and it's even harder when they're in a different generation. But making a good...
Poland Dan talk, I love you, but you realize there's Mexicans that are Americans, right? When I say Mexicans, I'm talking about Americans of Mexican ancestry. Like my family, who I know are fucking hardworking. I grew up with them. I'm not talking about illegals, bro. I'm talking about Mexicans. Specifically, Texas Mexicans who have been here for a long fucking time, because you remember Texas was part of Mexico. Okay, when I say Mexicans, I'm not talking about, I get it, that could be confusing because you say Mexicans, you think I'm talking about people from Mexico. No, I'm talking about Texans who are Mexican, who were born in America, okay?
Faith.
Who fought in our fucking wars, okay?
Effort to figure out what is this? Well, that's on us. Us being, you know, everyone with a job who's not in that generation. All the beneficiaries of a stronger, more cohesive America, the America we grew up in, which doesn't exist anymore. It's our responsibility to look at newer generations and say, what's going on with them? Can we help in any way? If we care about our country, if we care about our own families, our children and grandchildren, we probably want to do that. And it's probably not enough to call them names. It doesn't work, for one thing. It just makes whatever we claim to dislike even stronger. There's one lesson of the Trump 2015 announcement and everything that's happened since then, the last 10 years, it's that. And the lesson, obviously, is that when every power center in the country declares war on you, you become a power center. It doesn't destroy you. It makes you stronger. It's certainly true for Donald Trump. Would he have become president in 2016 and 2024 if all the cool kids hadn't denounced him as a Nazi? Probably not. Would he have been reelected if the FBI hadn't raided Mar-a-Lago and gone through his wife's underwear drawer?
That's a good point.
We can debate it, but maybe not.
It's a good point. It's very similar to what made Trump so popular as to what made Nick so popular. He was the bad boy. He was the one that everybody said, no, you can't listen to him. No, he's bad. He can't be president. Same thing with Nick. Same thing with Nick. You make something like desirable, especially for the youth. When you say, hey, you can't do that, the youth are going to do it. If you don't want your kid, if you want your kid to stick his finger in the light socket, tell him not to stick his finger in the light socket and see the first time you walk away, see what he does.
Maybe this would be the Ron DeSantis presidency. Probably. So attacking people, particularly when you attack them ad hominem, when you don't try to deconstruct or rebut the...
Yeah, I agree, Captain Willard. Captain Willard says Nick has a good show, but Nick is rage baiting and edgelording for his young viewers. Nick understands this. You know, that's one of the good sides of being banned off everything. Is like you're going to get an edgy audience, and there's no reason to hold back. There's no reason to not play into that. I think he knows that. He knows that's part of why he's popular, because he says all the things you're not supposed to say, and the youth fucking love that, man. The youth are like, holy shit. Oh, I grew up, in this fucking woke PC culture where I had to walk on eggshells, and here's this guy saying all the things and making all the jokes we're not supposed to make.
Arguments they're making, but just calling them names. Nazi! That's counterproductive every single time. You expose yourself as hysterical and shallow, and you elevate them in the minds of everybody else. They're important enough to be yelled at by every trustee at the Heritage Foundation or whatever. They must be important. So again, it doesn't work, but it's also on a deeper level kind of immoral. It's immoral to dismiss the concerns of your countrymen as beneath consideration. I don't have to listen to you because you like some guy who's got ugly views. And by the way, it's not a defense of all of Fuentes' views. We interviewed him on the show and said it is totally immoral to hate Jews as a group, because it's totally immoral to hate any group, period. That's always wrong. But it doesn't mean that everything Fuentes says is wrong. It's not wrong. And more to the point, what he says on the air and his huge popularity, which has only increased the more these people scream at him, says a lot about the people who are listening and their legitimate concerns and the factors in our society, in America and the West, that gave rise to their attitudes. Like, how did this happen? Let's, for once, in the last 20 years, look back and ask ourselves an honest question. How did this happen? Let's do what we didn't do.
No, because then that would mean the government would have to take accountability. The media would have to take accountability. Teachers, universities would have to take accountability because they're the fucking reason we have this. And that's a good point, because too many people just want to condemn these kids. And I think we should understand where they're coming from. We should debate them and try to win them over to your side, whatever your side happens to be. That should be the answer. You know, if you want to win somebody over, but instead, no, let's just burn them at the stake. Let's just take these dumb fucking kids who are 19, and we were all dumb fucking kids at one point too, and ruin their entire lives because they wanted to have an edgy boy moment. Because they had fun saying the things we're not allowed to say. No, fuck them, right? Just throw them away, condemn them, destroy their lives. Or should we bring them in and talk to them and understand where they're coming from and try to have the debates where we disagree and bring them to our side?
When we withdrew from Afghanistan or declared a truce in Iraq or carted away the rubble from 9/11. We never asked, how did this happen? And no one was ever held responsible for allowing it to happen or the bad.
Bro, I don't know where you're coming from, 91 Okie 27, but if that's true, I think she knows people have figured out that she did it. Okay, 91 Okie 27. Sorry to change the subject, but this is a subject I'm fascinated by. He says, Courtney Love just said the CIA killed Kurt. Now, I don't believe the CIA killed Kurt. I believe, in my humble opinion, allegedly, don't want to get sued, I think Courtney put people up to that. But again, that's just my opinion. That's not, that's allegedly, in my opinion. And if that's true, and she's coming out saying the CIA killed Kurt, I think she's finally realizing everybody just thinks she did it. So she's trying to fucking flip it. I don't know. I got to look that up. Is that true?
Decisions that made it happen, not one person. And so, of course, inevitably, disasters followed disasters, because if you never take the time to take responsibility for what you've done or even understand it, you're apt to repeat it. It's the most obvious observation in the world. It's the basis of good parenting. It's why you make your kids apologize, of course. So let's, in the case of Nick Fuentes, focus not on Nick Fuentes, but on the people who watch.
Okay, apparently that's The idea of hit the wrong button here. This is about the Courtney Love saying CIA killed Kurt. Apparently, it was based on a satire, fake news site. The idea of CIA involvement stems from a 2015 hoax article published by the People's Voice, formerly News Punch, a known satire fake news site falsely quoting Love as saying the CIA assassinated Cobain. Yeah, I don't know. Look, I follow that shit very closely. Okay, I'm in the know when it comes to the Cobain case. Yeah, I've not heard that, so I don't think that's real.
Nick Fuentes, what kind of world have they grown up in? These young white men.
You know, I'm a 90s kid. Kurt Cobain was like a legend for me. He was like the first rock star I fucking fell in love with, dude. I love me some Nirvana. And if you don't like Nirvana, I get it, okay? I get it, but you're a retard.
Well, they've grown up in, over the last 10 years, a world that hates them. And not in a subtle way. Openly, with a Hutu-like directness and ferocity. They've grown up in a country that has systematically, in law, excluded them from the workplace, from education, from federal grants, and has told them again and again and again, no, we're not discriminating against you, and yes, you deserve it. Imagine growing up like that. And again, this isn't behind the scenes. This is way out in the open. And not only has it done exactly that to young white men, of course, white men being the one group who are officially excluded under DEI. There's only one, it's white men, white straight men. It's not whining. And by the way, this happens to be the one group in America who, by and large, have been taught for cultural reasons, don't whine. Don't talk about yourself so much. No one wants to hear your story and whatever.
Sorry. Sorry. I'm going to whine. I'm going to talk about myself. I don't care about these rules. I sit here for 2 hours talking about myself. It's all about me, and I will whine, okay? I'm going to whine a lot.
You do. Don't be the victim.
Yeah, Gwen Stefani was fucking fine as hell. You guys got me thinking about my childhood, bro.
All of that's good advice, by the way.
The music was all right, but yeah, she was cute.
But this group has not only been...
And she started, I think Gwen Stefani started like the whole cutoff, showing your stomach off. Because she was like the first one to do that I remember. And then like Britney Spears copied her. And then all of a sudden every chick's wearing a shirt that, you know, shows their stomach off. But she was one of the first, if I remember right. She would always show her stomach off. She's skinny as fuck.
Excluded with the force of law by the Justice Department in every state and at every college and university, with maybe 3 exceptions. They've been mocked and attacked and lectured and harangued and screamed at. Every bookstore in America had books on display. Whiteness is the problem. Well, what if you're white? You know, what if you're like 19 and you're thinking about how do I make my way in this increasingly competitive, maybe even ruthless country? And everywhere I go, people are telling me I'm bad because of the way I was born. What effect would that have on you?
And then you can't get a job because you're not a chick. Even 20 years ago, when I was fucking at where these kids are now, I had a hard fucking time getting a job. And it wasn't like DEI, it was just chicks. It was like, you're a 20-year-old dude. You need, you know, the job at Best Buy. That's your only fucking option, Best Buy or some restaurant. And you go to fucking apply and it's all chicks working there, all fucking young, good-looking chicks. And the regular 20-year-old dudes, like, good luck getting that Best Buy job over that little hottie who the fucking, the middle-aged manager is going to hire every fucking time. And then now you have, okay, well, also you have DEI now. So it's not just, okay, women are taking the jobs. Okay, but now it's like, oh, you're a white guy. We need to meet the quota. So, and then you got these kids applying to universities and being turned down when they know that they fucking shouldn't be turned down, but they're just the wrong skin color. So yeah, it radicalized a lot of fucking white people, especially these white kids.
And then you flip on the tube or the internet, and all these people with big jobs making big salaries who have the implied moral authority of their positions are telling you you're bad because of your skin color. And by the way, this is not a guess. Here's an example.
We have systemic racism in the United States of America. It exists today. and it's a white man's problem. White men are responsible for it, not black men.
And we have stood by to see mediocre, mealy.
Looks like Jason's really mad. Jason, am I the retard or are you the retard, Jason, that doesn't understand basic things I'm saying here? Jason, I think you should go watch a different show, bro. Goodbye, Jason. Go watch a show you like, bro. I'm sorry, I got to go over here to get rid of Jason. It's just so annoying. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I just do an episode and I just get so many haters, and it's like, if you don't like the show, then don't fucking watch, bro. Where's Jason? Let's see. Let me see what he says here. Then you show your stupidity again by claiming that they are Americans in your opinion because America was once a... Bro, did I say America? I said Texas, you fucking retard. Texas was a part of Mexico, and there was a lot of Mexicans who stayed in Texas as Texas moved to become part of America, and those Mexicans have been here for a long fucking time. Okay? You fucking retard. Jason, maybe you need to practice your listening skills, bro. But go do it in another channel, okay? Goodbye. Goodbye, Jason. Have a good life, bro.
Snowflake white men who are incapable of taking critique, who are willing to dole out infamous repudiations of the humanity of the other, and yet they call us snowflakes, and they are the biggest flakes of snow to hit the earth.
American history is one in which white Americans, by and large, have been taught to have indifference or even contempt for black life. We have defined the country as a white...
What's crazy about that is, in my history, in my life experience, white people are the least racist of all the people in this country. But it's constantly pointed out, they're like, oh, white people are so racist and they're inherently racist and inherently this. And it's like, bro, we literally had like racism bred out of us, and you're bringing it back by fucking attacking us all the time. I don't know, man. I grew up, Mexicans were way more racist than white people. Black people were way more racist than white people. And this was, in the 90s and 2000s, dude. I grew up south side of San Antonio. I was one of the few white kids in a school I went to on the south side of San Antonio. And there were a lot of kids that their parents didn't even like me because I was white. I know that's hard to believe, but that's how a lot of these communities are. They're very tight-knit. They don't like outsiders. And that was kind of bred out of white people. White people kind of rejected that mentality. But yeah, white people are the most racist now, huh? According to whoever the fuck this guy is.
Nation where people of color are here on a guest pass.
1 in 3 Americans are racists. 1 in 3 Americans are terrified that this country by the year 2040 is not going to be majority white.
There has been no oppression for the white man in this country. And don't let it escape you that it is white men on this side of the aisle telling us, people of color on this side of the aisle, that y'all are the ones being oppressed.
Wake up, white men.
But yeah, you make it all about race 24/7, and then you're surprised when white people are like starting to make it about race now. Like, oh well, shit, they're always fucking white people this, white people that, and they're always talking shit how terrible we are. You're driving white people to be racist, is what you're doing. People like Don Lemon are driving white people to be racist.
And what the fuck is wrong with you? And you're just eating it up. Oh, my God. Look at what they're doing. All of a sudden, my heritage is going to be over. That I want to live in a country where white kids go to white schools and white people marry each other. What is wrong with that? I want to grow up in the country that my great-grandfather grew up in.
Well, maybe if you didn't do the same thing, it is weird because white people see and they go, oh, you can have all black colleges and you can have your all black spaces and it's totally fine to attack and make fun of white people. But if I make fun of somebody that's a different color, then I'm a racist. Like, there's a certain point where it's like, maybe if you don't want white people to do it, you shouldn't do it yourself. You don't want white only schools, you shouldn't have black only schools. Right? You don't want white people to be racist. Maybe you should stop being racist. Maybe you should stop using race as a fucking crutch for your political movement every 10 seconds. But no, you guys can be racist. And the moment like white people go, oh, well, they're going to be racist, I'm going to be racist too, then you freak out. It's weird.
That country doesn't exist anymore, asshole.
So you can see why there probably are some Nick Fuentes viewers who are a little confused when they hear themselves attacked as racist. Racism is wrong. Of course, it is wrong. But they've grown up in a world where one of the leading CNN anchors is looking right into the camera. So what the fuck is wrong with you white people? You want to be near other white people? You want to have a heritage? You want to have white children? How dare you? The CNN anchor is married to a white guy. Whatever. But it's a little hard to tell people that racism is wrong when you're committing it.
Hold on a second here. I got to investigate something. Somebody's unhappy with something I played. I wonder what it was. I wonder what clip it was that they're unhappy I played. Very odd. I wonder what it was. Let me see. I bet you it was CNN or CBS. We'll see. Heads up, we've detected video in your stream belonging to someone else. Your stream may be temporarily blocked. If you plan to continue, please ensure that the content owner... Let's see what we got here. Let me see what other information I can get, because they won't tell me what it is. Let me see if I can find out. It's weird. That's the first time I've gotten one of those live. Let me see. Yeah, I don't even know. Still doesn't give me any details. Who's the problem? Who's the problem? I don't even know when this message showed up too, so it could have been from earlier. Okay, now it's gone. Oh, maybe it's fucking Tucker. Maybe Tucker's got his shit in there now. Can't even react to fucking Tucker now. Where was Tucker at? Let's see. I'll play some. We'll see if this fucking pops off again. Which, by the way, I've never gotten a copyright claim from Tucker, so that would be weird.
And again, it's not just a few people.
But people always fall into these traps, bro. They fall into these traps every time where it's like, oh, somebody ripped off my video, so now I got to go sign up with Ben Pixel. And now, like, everybody that reacts in a fair use way, they're all going to get copyright claims. Because they don't understand the way these fucking companies work. They don't fucking care. They're going to claim every fucking thing.
It was our entire ruling class was lecturing us about how whiteness is a disease. It's a plague. It's inherently sinful. It's the source of all evil. The president of the United States stood up and said racism is the problem, and it's only committed by whites. It's a white man problem.
Or I wonder if it was one of the clips Tucker was playing. I wonder if that's what it was.
Is racism only committed by whites? No, and everyone knows that.
Yeah, but what they teach is that is the case. Because black people are incapable of being racist. Minorities in general are incapable of being racist. That's the shit that they teach. And the first time I heard that, my mind blew up. Like, there's no way you're telling people that. There's no way you're trying to tell people that racism is impossible for anybody but white people. Like, that's probably the most racist shit I've ever heard in my entire life. But that's what they've been teaching at the universities forever, because apparently white people have all the power. So it's, even like the richest black person in the world is incapable of being racist because white people have all the power. Okay, bro. Okay, it's almost like you set up a system where you wanted white people to become racist again. It's almost like that's what you wanted.
Hating other people is a human problem, one that every person struggles with, hopefully struggles against, because it's wrong. It's always wrong. Anti-Semitism is wrong. It's every bit as wrong as what you just saw. It's every bit as anti-black racism or anti-Malaysian racism. It doesn't matter. Hating people for how they were born is wrong. It's called a universal principle. This country is founded on universal principles. They apply to everyone equally. That's the promise of America. That is Western civilization. If you could sum it up in a sentence, what is Western civilization? Well, it's a civilization governed by universal principles. Everyone can be saved. No one is damned by his nature. And hating any group, because that's true, hating any group is by definition immoral. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened. It happens all the time, of course, because it's the default setting in the human heart. But we need to struggle against it. Maybe not ban it. It's hard to ban attitudes. And once you get down that road, you become totalitarian immediately. But say it's wrong. And if it's not wrong in every case, then it can't really be wrong, can it? If it's not a universal principle, then it's not a principle. And so how can my racism be worse than your racism? Well, of course it can't. So the people lecturing Fuentes viewers for something that is wrong, hating all Jews is wrong, totally wrong, don't have the moral authority to make the case because they've been engaging in this in public and in private for the entire lifetime of Nick Fuentes' viewers.
Yeah, but it's not, again, it's the dirty game. It's not racism. Like, they can treat white people like shit. They can fucking do anything they want to do, say anything they want to say about white people, and that's not racism. Because it's impossible to be racist against a white person. And they believe that.
So it's hard to take them seriously. And by the way, you can tell exactly where this is going. It's going toward violence. Tribal warfare. That's the last thing you want. That's why this is a great country. That's why it's exceptional, because we haven't had that. And why haven't we had that? Because we have self-consciously and out loud said, these are universal principles that apply to every human being because every human being was created by God in God's image. That's it right there. That's a Christian understanding of the human soul. There's been a lot of noise in the news.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I kind of, I've said it last night. I agree. Like, we can't just like shun people and kick them out and be like, no, you're not allowed to have a voice. You're banned off everything. We have to debate. We got to let everybody have unless you're breaking the law, you're calling for violence. We need to allow everybody to have a voice, and we got to let the people decide. And if people are wrong, you should be able to prove them wrong. You should be able to debate them. You should be able to sit down, have a conversation with them, and show why they're wrong. And if your answer is no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to petition to get you banned and kicked off the internet and get your voice fucking shut down. I mean, that tells me like you're probably the one that's wrong. Because if you're right and you believe in the shit you're spouting, the shit you're espousing, then you should be willing to debate anybody over it. Whether or not they're a racist or a white supremacist or a fucking communist or a fascist or whatever, you should be able to debate them. What are you afraid of, dude? Are you afraid that your beliefs are not going to hold up? Maybe they won't. Maybe you'll grow. Maybe you'll learn something and you'll grow, but I doubt it. All right, guys, fun episode. Hope you guys are doing good. We got the 2 hours here. Let's see. Let's chat with the chat. Let's see if the chat's still attacking me. Every time I look at the chat today, everybody's attacking me over something I fucking said. Jesus Christ. You guys try to talk for 2 hours. See what happens. You guys try it. It's not easy. The West is like that room in your house you can party in and trash it. Yeah. Nobody cares about this country anymore, man. Very few do. Morons don't want to listen. Does your mom know you're gay? What are we doing, dude? Who's gay? I'm gay. I don't even know. It's always dangerous reading comments because I don't always have the full context of what the fuck you guys are talking about. Here, let me get this back here. Oh, nope, wrong one. There we go.
At Bobreen 1108 super chatted $5. Give me a P, give me a 1, give me a N, give me a G.
Nice, Bob. If only the robot voice would sing it. Give me a P. Give me a 1. Yeah, that's but the ping, the 1 is not in ping, the 1's in the trip, by the way, in case you don't know. Pink Trip, have you seen the next flood video by Space Weather News?
Super chatted $30. Good stream, ping. GN all.
Good night, Rabbits. Thank you for the 30, bro. It's very generous. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream, bro. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I just get bad luck, and when I look at the chat, it's somebody that's fucking pissed off at me. But it seems like every time I look at the chat today, it's somebody pissed off. I don't know. Sometimes you just hit a batch of viewers that just don't like you. It's weird. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm like, where's all the locals who like me? What video are we talking about here? Have you seen the next flood video by Space Weather? Let me pull that up. Maybe I'll save it for a later episode, or I'll watch it later tonight. But the next flood, what are we talking about? Talking about the Great Flood? We're gonna wipe the world out? Let me pull this up. I can save it for later. Sounds like something I'd like to watch. The next flood, Space Weather News, 12 hours ago. Or is there a flood coming right now? Pole shift event? Oh no, man. This is gonna scare. I'm gonna have a hard time sleeping, dude, if I watch this shit. I saved it. I'm gonna watch that later. Seems interesting. Ugh. You find what you look for, they are the minority. I'm not looking for it. I look like this post, right? You know, like you find what you look for, they are the minority. That's the first fucking thing I saw when I looked over at the chat was your post. Okay. King Nation. Thank you, Hole and Dan Sock. It was Candace Owens who said Courtney told her it was CIA a week ago. Really? Candace Owens? Is Candace just reading it? I don't know. Let me see. You guys drive? Hopefully you guys aren't sending me down some weird rabbit holes here. Oh, you're right. I received a lengthy email from Courtney Love. Okay, all right. We'll watch this then. We'll watch this. All right. Let's see. I don't believe it though. I believe Courtney's trying to distract because a lot of people think she did it. You know. Let me pull this up. We'll watch this since I talked about it. Let's watch this real quick. And I don't usually use Facebook, but when I did a Google search, this is what pulled up. So here we go.
Of this year. So back in January of this year, someone notified me that Courtney Love wanted to reach out to me. We all know who Courtney Love is. If for nothing else, it's because the media...
Stay away from Courtney Love. All right, Candace. Look, I'm not your biggest fan, but I wouldn't wish Courtney Love on my worst enemy. Stay away from her, bro. There's nothing good that can come out of this.
Has convinced most people that she had something to do with the murder of her husband, Kurt Cobain. When I made contact with her, it was because she had been watching my podcast and she knew that I was obsessed with the book Chaos. Courtney Love told me so much information in January of this year. It was like she basically wrote me a novel.
Yeah, but she lies like fucking crazy, dude. Just because she wrote you a novel, probably maybe 1% of it is fucking true. That bitch lies like fucking nothing, man.
I couldn't process it. It was information overload. And if she had sent that to anybody but me, someone would have looked at this information and said, oh, this is just crazy. So while I personally...
Please, release the information. Dude, do you realize how many people are still obsessed with Kurt Cobain's suicide, alleged suicide? And you got some fucking insider information from Courtney Love? Release that shit. People want to know what the fuck she has to say.
Did not understand the nature.
There's a lot of people like me. Like, I'm not going to say I know for sure Courtney had something to do with it. I know almost without a shadow of a doubt Kurt did not fucking kill himself. There's no way. There's too many things in there, man. You know, there's the level of heroin dose. Like, there's no way you're going to take that amount of heroin and then you're going to do that. You're not. You're just going to nod off. Okay. And then there's a lot of forensic shit that just doesn't make sense.
Nature of what goes on.
And there's even now, you know, I don't know how trustworthy it is because this guy is a bit of a drug addict, but there's a guy who claims to have been there when it happened. And what's it? Is it Justice for Kurt or something? There's a new channel that's been talking about it and did an interview with the guy, but it was hard to follow because the guy's clearly fucking on heroin. So that makes his testimony not believable, but who knows, man. It wouldn't surprise me if somebody that Kurt was hanging out with in the 90s is still addicted to heroin. So it's not, you know, out of the realm of possibility.
Inside of Hollywood, I did start to understand it after everything happened with Ye. She explained to me that she was a toddler and she was experimented on at the Haight-Ashbury Clinic. For those of you, Haight-Ashbury, it's the intersection where they had this clinic and the hippies came. And this is when the CIA was just dosing them intentionally because they wanted to understand how to control minds. Courtney, who's writing a book on this, so I'm not exposing anything, told me that she was given LSD at this age. This is how she grew up. She grew up in this area. And she told me, I did not kill Kurt Cobain. That was a part of a psychological operation to make the masses look away from what the CIA was guilty of. And
crazy. So now is this really Courtney's story now? Because she's the one who pushed the whole suicide thing. She's the whole one who turned Rome when he had a lot of people think she tried to kill him in Rome because he overdosed on like roofies, like it's supposedly like roofies and wine. People think like he had his drink spiked or something. But you know that went from an accidental overdose to like the first suicide attempt, and he's so suicidal and he's this and that. She's like pretty much sold everybody on it was being a suicide, but now she doesn't believe it was a suicide. Now she thinks it's the CIA. Or has she come to the realization that like, the gig's up, everybody knows, pretty much more people believe I did it than not. So let me try to spin the story to some other conspiracy to get, I don't know. It's weird. It is weird.
And she then told me through a lot of messages that at the core of all of this is ownership. The best way to understand it is that when companies or individuals get too big and become too powerful, they send their agents to control them, to make sure that they are able to control their messaging. And if they cannot control those individuals, they will stage some sort of a hostile takeover of that brand or of that company or of that particular person. And there's a number of ways that can be accomplished. First and foremost, the psychosis. She's having a mental breakdown. She needs a break. She's really tired. Britney's been put on a Psych 5150 hold. Kanye, he said he was just reading a Bible, and Harley Pasternak, and we got into his backstory, and MK Ultra suddenly puts him in a hospital on a Psych 5150 hold, and somehow his wife, I guess, was cool.
Well, thank you, Rabbits. 10 gifted. Whoa, bro. Thank you. I believe that they do this, but I don't know if I believe anything. I don't believe anything coming out of Courtney's mouth, to be honest. I think everything that comes out of her mouth is fucking full of shit. Bro, thank you. 10 gifted memberships, dude. Jesus Christ. Who we got? Cody, Don Fillinger. What's up, everybody? Dread Clown. Stainless Neil, Seraphim Goose, Theodore, Lawn Care Lover, Ian Undercover, Wild Living, Jade Church. Thank you, guys. Welcome to the team. I recognize a lot of the names. Thank you very much, Rabbits. Everybody say thank you to Rabbits. Very generous. He gives a lot of memberships around here. I'd say probably half of my memberships are from Rabbits. He gives so many memberships. Why does it keep going off? Oh, is it going off for each individual one? That's new. That's new. I don't remember doing it like that. I used to just do it once for the 10. Yeah. Oh, good. I don't have to read it off anymore. I'll do it individually. Well, that makes life easier. Thank you, Rabbits. You rock, brother. And El Jefe now. Yeah, between Rabbits and El Jefe, I think you guys are responsible for all of my members at this point. You guys are really responsible. At least half, if not more. Thank you, guys. If you do want to become, if you didn't get a free one and you want to join, it's pretty cheap. It's like, I don't know, $2.99, the lowest tier to become a member. So if you want to support the channel, links in the description. Otherwise, hang around. Make sure you have it turned on because eventually you might get a free one because these guys give a lot of free ones. Thank you very much, El Jefe. Dude, you rock. This is going to go off for a while if we're going to do this individually. Yeah, welcome. Everybody say thank you. Please say thank you if you got a free membership. Dude, you guys are so generous, man. It's much appreciated. Especially on a show like this today where it's like, damn, what the fuck? Everybody's upset about what I'm saying? What the fuck? What am I doing? Why is everybody upset? And I know it's you know, there is a real thing where you do notice the negativity more than the positivity. We're all that way. That's not just me. And I wish I could have not always fall into that trap of noticing the negativity over the positivity, but that's how we're built, man. It's the negative things that will kill you. You know, the positive things are easy to forget about while you focus on the danger, you know? But thank you guys. Thank you so much for the support, man. You guys rock. But yeah, I don't believe anything that comes out of Courtney's mouth, dude. I really don't. Let me, is it done? No, it's not done. We'll mute it for now because it's going to go on forever. Let's see if that stops it. They must have changed that because it used to give just one notification. All right, cool. So we'll see it, but it's muted. Okay. Let's finish this clip.
With that, another way that they accomplish this is via lawfare. They will bankrupt you. And Michael Jackson, despite the fact that he was beating Sony, he was owning his own catalog and almost owned the Beatles catalog. And that's when they swept in and they took down Michael Jackson. He died broke, right? And the people who he was fighting owned his catalog. Actually, in the news today, and this is totally a God thing. I saw Paris Jackson was in the news today. She's lost in court and she's still fighting over her father's legacy. It's insane. The very people he hated, right, now own his catalog and he was beating them.
Hey, stop that.
The fuck? I just automatically went into another video and didn't even weird. Yeah, I don't believe anything she says. Look, I do believe that is the case when you become, you know, at Michael Jackson level. There are going to be people who try to control you, maybe even the government. But I don't think it got to that with Kurt. I think Courtney won. I mean, look, listen to Courtney's father. Go do your own research. I'm not going to be able to cover it all, but there's tons of shit out there. I think she's just trying to fucking get people thinking. I really think what she's trying to do is she's trying to replace the current conspiracy, which is she did it, with the more popular conspiracies that are around now, which is it was the government, it was the CIA. Not buying it though. It's okay. No one's ever. I mean, the Seattle Police Department's never going to reopen the case. Like, there's no chance of any justice around that. But I think most of us know what happened. He was killed by the people closest to him. Take that for what you want, They killed Michael. Well, yeah, that one's a little suspicious. A little suspicious because, all the money that's involved getting control of Michael's, estate and all that. But I don't know, man. I don't know what to think with Michael. Definitely his doctor was a fucking idiot. His doctor was just like, oh, okay, you want to just, be on fucking, Prohifenol or whatever all day? Okay, well, fine, you got the money. We'll hook you up and give you the fucking good juice all day long. But yeah, with Courtney, I don't buy anything that comes out. Like the way I am with Courtney, if she says something, I know it's not true. Whatever she says, I know that's absolutely not the truth. You can rule that out as being the truth or being anything to do with reality. She's just crazy. She's a crazy bitch. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it, especially the last 20 members, El Jefe and Rabbits, dude. Thank you so much. And all the super chats too. You guys are very generous tonight. I appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow night. Can't take any days off, at least till the end of the month. I might take maybe one day off before the end of the month, but I got to catch up for all the missed shows from early in the month, from having toothy issues, from having a little toothache. But so yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Look out for more shows on the weekend too. And thank you guys. Thank you for the support. We'll see you tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, 9 Central tomorrow. Set it on your calendars. Thank you guys. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Okay. And thank you for the support, guys. You guys rock. Thank you so much.
Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified. Here's some other videos to watch that you might like or you might not. Have a great day, my internet friend. I hope I'll see you once again. Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified. Have a great day, my internet friend. I hope I'll see you once again. Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified.